There, I did it right this week.
For more info, visit fucking stupid. That's what that is. No one cares. Nobody cares. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Hot Seat. I am Crippled Cody. Just wanted to remind you all of that just in case you don't remember, because it has been 10 long months since I've done a Hot Seat episode, as I was just informed before we went live. Tonight, we have a very special guest, a man who in the very beginning suggested to the people of Raven Red, Michael J. and the rest of them, to give me a chance to see how I could do on this, which is what led to me having shows on Raven and Red in the very first place. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, we're going to be meeting him very, very soon. He looks very sexy today. I already seen a quick picture of him. I did have to tell him to put his shirt back on real quick because it was just a little too much sexiness, but we're going to get to that just a minute. On tonight's episode, The Hot Seat, we're going to have some really fun conversations, and we'll see how personal things get on tonight's episode. Let's start the show.
Cody's Hot Seat is a show with a cripple. And he says a lot of things that are off color that you may not want to hear. He drops F-bombs and N-bombs and all sorts of bombs. So just, if you're sensitive about that, you may just want to turn it off right now. But if you're not, then sit back, relax, and enjoy.
All right, here we are. Real quick, what the fuck was that at the beginning? No one told me that was happening.
I like how there's a parental advisory. Like, let's be honest, there's not going to be a lot of people watching because of Mike's management of how to run a podcast is dreadful. So I don't know why putting a parental advisory up there is needed. Because I guess there might have been a lawsuit pending. I don't know.
It's mainly just because I don't follow the woke rules of today's society, and a lot of other people are bullied into doing that, and I'm not. So I think that's where the joke came from. But yeah, Mike's management skills are horrendous. To say my walking skills are better.
Yeah, which is pretty sad. But you sure could drink a Mountain Dew. God bless your heart. You're the only white guy I know that drinks that much Mountain Dew.
No, so that's the joke too, because okay, so I take these funny pictures with Mountain Dew packs. It was a joke that started about a year or two ago because somebody brought it up to me. You've been on my friends list for quite a while, Vince, right? Like several years. And you remember several years ago when I first got into listening to baby metal, I was making memes of that girl, the front girl, Sue Metal. She was barely legal, like 18, 19, when I first started making those memes. So I started making these memes because the joke was I was allegedly in love with her, which it was obviously just a fucking joke. Anyone who didn't think it was a joke. But about a year or so ago, someone was telling me like, "Oh, hey, you lost your creativity. Like you don't make those Sue Metal memes anymore. You just kind of find stuff and post." And that is true, but it also has a lot to do with I spend a lot less time on social media nowadays compared to 7-8 years ago. But then someone made a joke to me like, "Oh, well, you don't love nothing as much as you love Mountain Dew." And I was like, you know what? That's a fucking funny joke right there. I can do something with that. So yeah, for the last year or so, I've just been posting these pictures of random ideas with funny jokes with Mountain Dew. But the truth is I buy the midget cans and I only drink maybe 1 or 2 of those a day. I'm not drinking 5 or 6 of them a day. It's a little bit less than what you thought.
that's what like I always like admire about like okay, so you're beyond the medical term is beyond fucked. Like to have no you I got my own shit, whatever.
Yeah, you got your
This,
background is a hospital hallway, so you got
well,
your
I
own.
put because I did this running joke that was only to me as a joke. Because I got so bored with Rabbit and Red after the third episode of doing it, going, why did I do this? So I constantly always try to bring up Halloween 2 no matter what. So I figured let me use the background drop of Halloween 2 for my background job.
The only sequel that matters.
Yeah. The movie I once watched every day straight for a whole year. But yeah, like I think about like you can't drink that anyway because I don't even imagine how you go to the bathroom and like that monstrosity and anguish on others of like, you know, Cody made a duty. I'm going to need some help here.
You think Mountain Dew makes me shit my pants?
Well, it can with all the chemicals in there. If you drink
Well,
enough of it, if you're 32 ounces of it a day over time, oh yeah, that's going to screw up all your microbiome in your lower GI.
believe it or not, I go get my yearly lab work done and all kinds of physicals and everything. I don't have much going on that's bad right now with my health. I have a seizure. I have a seizure disorder, and that's it. But that's thanks to COVID.
What happened? And yeah, how? Like I know I'm the hot seat, but I'm more fascinated. Like your story of how did it all start? What caused this at birth? When did it? Like when did this happen? And what was the cause?
So as far as I remember, you know, when I grew up not with the greatest set of parents. You know, they always tried to take care of me, and they still physically take care of me. You know, if I need physical care, like helping with bathrooming or feeding me and stuff like that. But my parents were never like the mature type. You know, they probably should have never ever had kids.
Did they have you young? Were they in their teens or early 20s?
No. So my mom didn't get pregnant with me until she was 25, and
Okay.
that's pretty normal, you know, especially compared to today's world where these little hussies are getting pregnant at 17, 18, 19 or whatever. And so, yeah, my mom was 25. My dad was in his 30s. So there's a little bit of an age gap between them. I think there's a 7-year age gap between them. And, you know, they just spoiled me rotten ever since I was a little kid. And I think that was their answer to how can we make his life because Cody's going to eventually see that he's not the same as everyone else. So, you know, they showered me with gifts and I got all the video game consoles and, you know, when I was younger, I used to go ape shit on the snacks, you know, candy, chocolate, peanut butter, Reese cups, M&Ms. Nowadays, I hardly ever buy snacks because I understand how terrible that shit can be for you. So when I was younger, from what I remember, this was probably still in my single digits, probably like 8 or 9, but they would just let me, you know, try out any type of drink, you know, non-alcoholic, of course. You know, I tried out anything from Sunny D to Hawaiian Punch to different type of sodas. And the two things that I latched onto was Sunny D and Mountain Dew for my two drinks that I swapped back and forth, you know, from. Now in the 2000s and all the way up until the early 2010s, I was drinking a lot more Mountain Dew than I do these days because at that point I didn't have no idea about health risks and what Mountain Dew is actually doing to you and all that stuff. So I was drinking it. I was going weeks just drinking just Mountain Dew. And then I had a stomach surgery in 2010 and I had to take a huge long break from Mountain Dew because I had something called a fistula, which means,
you know, that is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have over 12, by the way. Yeah.
You had over 12?
I currently have 12. I'm not kidding.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you know how annoying and gross that can be.
Yeah, I got 2 fag cousins. I'm the one with ass problems over here. I don't know what I did.
See, I knew you and Mike had something in common because he's got fag brothers, right? Doesn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, he's just very. He has a brother who's, you know, he's not married in that kind of a way. Yeah, kind of guy that cries at the end of the Notebook.
Right. So so for anyone who wants to know, I'll keep this short, but I basically had a feeding tube when I was a baby. Because I had a bunch of problems when I was a baby. I clinically died a couple of times. I had sleep apnea, I think it was called. So there's a couple of different times. Yeah,
She
there.
was that young, and I'm not putting your parents on blast, but was there anything? Was there drinking going on, drugs going on during the pregnancy? Or don't want to disclose that?
I will never know. I will never know for a fact. I assumed that at the very least, my dad probably never stuck, because my dad still to this day is a drug addict and an alcoholic. My mom swears up and down that during her pregnancy, she didn't do anything other than like have a glass of wine here and there. But
yeah, but that wouldn't even do. You know, the fact that you're mentally sharp, you're not. You're look. If I'm down to you and Mike, and I'm on that old show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I need a lifeline for a question. I'd go to you. Like, I'm not going to ask Mike to help me out.
He'll just do his snort laugh and pass the timer. Yeah. That's what he does. That's what he fucking does. That's Robin Red in a nutshell, right there.
That was the gem that nobody could figure out. How does this show work? What is it? I was the only person who could figure out how to make that work. It was just fuck with the guy, but also try to get him to be different every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know when to hit the well, but that well would dry up really quick. And then I would always love to hear his catfish stories on these dating websites. And the best part, like, everybody gets catfished. That's stupid, right? But he got catfished by ugly chicks. Like, he wasn't, like, there's catfish, like older women get catfished and they think it's Johnny Depp. Like, oh my God, I gave Johnny Depp, $15,000 because he said he needed lunch. Like, you thought that was true? Yeah, it's Johnny Depp. Look at that photo. Mike got catfished by ugly wheelchair-bound girls.
Which is what he's into. He's into that secretly.
And I don't get it. Like,
it's only a matter of time before the little queer boat asks me for nudes, because he's going to get so lonely that he's going to ask me for nudes. Hey, if he pays me for it, I might. Who knows? Just not put a face in it.
I've never seen his porn stuff, what he watches. I like to think it's just normal stuff, guy girl stuff, maybe some girl. I don't think he's into weird stuff, but oh my God, it's just like what he would, when he would describe like how he would have sex with a woman. It's more sad than anything. It becomes depressing because just how he describes how bad he is and how small, and it's more degrading. So I think that's why he probably gravitates towards people who also have a disability, because they're used to seeing fucked up shit.
And here's the funny thing about Mikey Jagoff Sankovich is you just look at, he's a great guy, compared to what other people think about him. We both know he's a great guy, but if you were to look just at a picture of Mike, he looks like one of those stereotypical pedos that's looking for your 12-year-old niece to talk to him.
And he's looked like that for the last 20 years. It's finally caught, like, his age is finally caught up to what he looks like. And when he was 22, he looked like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. He always looked like, especially at a small child, if you see photos of him at 9, he looks like he should have been popping out of a lake trying to grab down Adrian King. He's that, like, he is, that's who he is. He's young Jason Voorhees.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Now that you make that comparison, my God, someone should put a video together where they put his face on the end of that First Friday film. That would look
now
good.
With AI, you can do it. It'll be a lot more easier than without it. There's a lot going on where I live. I have now a madhouse.
Yeah, it seems like maybe the hospital doors are opening back there and the dogs are barking for some reason.
There might have been a black fellow on the lawn. You know how? I'm kidding.
Yeah. The dogs need to bite him for sure.
I'm joking, people. I make enough money. I don't have to live around them. Why would somebody say that?
Yeah,
it's okay. I found out I have 13. I did my 23andMe. Found out 13% of me is African.
Yeah. So let me ask real quick, because it just not to divert from your questions, but I'd like to know how your health is these days, because I know you went through
It's
some stuff. Is it okay we talk about
yeah,
that?
I'm an open book with that. It'll be today's the third, so the fifth will be a full year I had a stroke. I had a legit one. Back in 2006, I had what was called a traumatic attack, which is a mini stroke. Didn't know it at the time, and it was diagnosed as successfully as it could when going a day after. Because when it happened, I actually went to the doctor the next day, told him what happened, hooked me up stuff, and based on the symptoms, like you had a warning stroke. And what caused that back then? I was running pretty hard, 24 at the time. I don't say this to brag either. Like, I was working a lot, but also out with my friends almost every single night, dating different women all the time. Never wore a fucking condom. How I never got an STD is a miracle. Never a pregnancy scare either, because I was smart. Like, I just disciplined. But drinking nonstop, never had a problem though. Like, I could go a day, like, oh, I don't need a drink, or I can go out and just have one or two. But if I wanted to drink, I was gonna drink all night, smoking 2 packs a day, but never did drugs. So last year, we'll get married one. I think I'll have to marry her soon with my health deteriorating. So her and my girls get the money.
Mhm.
My life for the past 6 years has changed, mostly for the better. I went from now I have a lot of responsibilities. I have two stepdaughters. They're my daughters, pretty much. They call me
Mhm.
dad. And my fiance, beautiful woman, great girl, but she's a fucking cunt. And as I say that with all, so this is what I'm dealing with. I'll put it this way. This is good. When we first met. I had part of a business and my other job, but she came in a place where I was working, and first time I saw her was beautiful. Like, that was the first time I ever got butterflies. And she came in another time, and a friend of mine was working with me, and I had to step out. And when I came back later, he told me, hey, that girl we talked to, yeah, she said, after you left, she says, I'm going to fuck that guy. Yeah, this is a story when I have to quite change when my daughter says how we really met and how it went down. It's going to have to be a lot more romantic than the real story. And my thought was, well, that's not going to happen, because I actually oh my God, I actually like her. But yeah, it's been up and down for 6 years. But yeah, I let her cause the issue. So this time last year, I'm in and out of the house. I don't want to live around her because she pisses me off. And I'm over there, and she's complaining about money. And she's not asking me for money, but she's complaining all this stuff comes to a head. And whole left body went numb. And it took me back to April 2006. And I was about to sit down, which probably would have been the smartest thing. But I kept standing because all that's going through my head is I got two young girls upstairs. I can't die on the spot. I just can't. And she asked, what's wrong? And I won't say it in a stroke voice, but I said, I'm having a stroke, you fucking cunt. And best as I could. Well, she's panicking, because that's what you do in that situation. I told her, get the truck ready, get the girls, but tell them and I'm trying my best to spit all this out. I said, tell them I have something stuck on my throat, because I don't want to scare them. Oh yeah, it was luckily the hospital. Closest one was less than 5 minutes away, but the whole truck ride is, you're killing dad, you bitch, you're killing dad. Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with going to the hospital.
They were blaming her?
They knew whatever was wrong with me, she caused it.
Oh, okay. How old, if you don't mind me asking, how old are your daughters?
They're now 13 and 11. And what's weird is, yeah, technically they're not mine. They both have a resemblance to me, and especially the oldest one it's my personality. Seriously, she's got my personality down. The cutest thing, and this will be very offensive to most people. This is back in March. We go grocery shopping, and coming back, she says, who's playing tonight? Is the Flyers or the Sixers? I'm like, oh, the Sixers are playing tonight. They're playing the Dallas Mavericks. She goes, well, do we have to watch it? I go, no, we don't have to watch that. We can watch whatever you want. She says, okay, good. Black guys are ugly. And I let it sit down. I don't correct her. I don't say God made everybody beautiful. I'm going, I don't got to worry.
Yeah, I'd be proud of my daughter. She said that.
I don't let her know that I got a little bit in me, but still. But yeah, I had that. That stroke was a wake up call. I bounced back pretty damn strong, and the hospital I went to was so shit that I was getting better as I was there. So when they didn't even do a scan, they took blood work. And I told them, I'm having a panic attack. So the scan, they didn't do the brain. They took a scan of my heart because they knew how to divert them to say like, no, this is what, started getting the speech back. And I told them panic attack. So never did that. Yeah, my neurologist knew. And brain scan showed what it was. If I didn't stand the whole time for the majority, it probably could have got worse. I was trying my best to squeeze my left fist, but I was always constantly squeezing my right because I still had movement there, just enough. Did everything I could. It didn't take everything out of me, but it took some time to really get a majority of my strength back. And now I'm back. I've always had not always, since 2000, officially 2008, Crohn's disease, which I do my best with. The biggest one that was more life-changing because it did not make me a better person for a couple of years, and I changed that. In 2011, specifically it was October 2011 when it was finally diagnosed. I started around middle of July. I was probably the best shape I ever was. I was doing 2 days at the gym, constantly training. And out of nowhere, just started getting more fatigued, and I didn't feel as sharp sometimes with being quick thinking. And told my doctor he set me up with a neurologist, ran tests. They couldn't figure out what it was, and I passed all the major ones. Like they tested for ALS. Didn't have a history of Huntington's. That's what threw them off. They said, well, some of these signs look like it's Huntington's, but you don't have anybody in your family that has it, so we're good there. And diagnosed me officially as you can with supraneurological palsy. It's a disease that's really not, it's hard to do 100% testing and saying this is what you have, but I had the symptoms. The biggest thing was it was a physical test. I couldn't lift a 10-pound dumbbell above my head. And being at that time, I'm 6'3", and at that time, I was 205 pounds. And for me not to lift 10 pounds over my head it scared the shit out of me.
Right.
So with that, they give you, most people they don't make it after 7 years. They're just done. And then there's people like me, I've made it past that mark, but the past couple months, it feels like out of nowhere, like I've had no signs of the symptoms, and now they're all coming back really strong. So there's always that fear of losing speech, ability to talk. I'm losing balance here and there, but I still go to work every day. I'm back to working a good corporate job that I like, and I can do everything I can and more, for my family. And that's just like, that's who, I don't know what it is, but I have that. That's, every guy has an ego. My ego is fuck you, I'll outwork you. I see guys who are pieces of shit. There's people out there, they'll have a kid, won't even pay child support. Just leech off society, a bunch of real zeros in life. I don't know how to do that. I'm actually proud that I got two girls. They look up to me. They think I'm fucking Superman. So I got to wear a cape pretty much every day. Like I got to set the example. And that's pressure, dude. Cody, that's fucking pressure because those ages, I fuck up their own OnlyFans in the next 6 years selling pussy. Like that's what goes through my mind. Like don't fuck their shit up where they're going to be hoes. Like,
right.
Just
and also, you just said your health is scary still to this day. One day you might be wearing a superhero cape, but the next day you might be wearing a hospital gown for all you know.
Oh, I'll never wear those. I always go in with sweatpants and a nice T-shirt. I always got to be comfortable. So I don't fuck around with that. When I go in the hospital, I don't wear the gown. Yeah, I'm not going to wear. This is the trick. So everybody's we live sometimes we have to be more sensitive now than ever to people's needs. So last time I was in the hospital for a long period, 4 days. This was 2022. It was March of 2022. I didn't wear the official gown. I just wore sweatpants and a sweatshirt. They said, well, you should wear the gown. I said, yeah, but it doesn't help my mental state. They let me do what I wanted to do at that point with the outfit. I'm wearing sweatpants. It's not like I'm wearing a fucking tuxedo going, go do your operation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, they're going to stand there and fucking argue with you about it. There's more important things at hand.
Yeah, it's, again, the gown's never comfortable. It's a weird situation. But yeah, overall, health's always going to be the way it is. I don't use it as an excuse. I never make it public in terms I never go on social media like I had a bad day because of can you imagine I think of people like yourself what you have to go through. I'm not going to be healthy in days the pain is bad. I haven't been able to feel my feet since December 2021. They're always going to be like that. And it's not to make the joke. It's the easiest joke to make, but it's not to make a joke. I can't feel my feet. Cody, you don't have feet. You can't drive a car. You don't have independent freedom. You are pretty much, if you thought about it this way all the time, it would be horrible, but don't. But you could say you're a prisoner of your own body. In a lot of cases, many of us are. It's just how long is our sentence going to be? And what do we do with it? And you make the best out of a horrible situation. So I look at somebody like you as inspiration. Shit. I can't. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. So, and it kind of ties back to, you asked me a couple of questions in the beginning and then we got sidetracked on different topics. But, yeah, I grew up and my parents spoiled the fuck out of me, which could be a bad thing, but it also was a good thing. And to give a quick explanation of that, from early childhood, teenage years, and still all the way to this day, what matters to me the most is my entertainment world. Because my mom thankfully realized in the beginning, if there was one thing that could get my mind off of anything negative, it's entertainment, whether it be horror movies, video games, anything like that. And yeah, I know I've talked shit about my parents off and on, throughout all these episodes that I've done and whatnot. But my mom really actually did try to figure out how to keep a smile on my face every day. So I think she just didn't know how to hold that back a little, pull it back a little bit and balance it. And yeah, I got a little too addicted to chocolate. I got a little too addicted to Mountain Dew. And I had to learn on my own as I got older how to pull myself back and learn about health facts and stuff like that. But to her credit, I still to this day, the most important thing to me is my horror movies, my video games, the stuff that kind of really doesn't have anything to do with people or human interaction. And I don't get me wrong here. I love my friends and I'm very thankful for what I have in life. I'm not a religious person, but I am thankful to any possible higher power that might be of what I have in life, the mind setting that I have, and the current amount of health that I have. And you're right. I do go through bad days, but I don't talk about it online and nothing against anybody who has to do that to reach out to someone. It's not like that. But
no, yeah, there's a difference there. There's a difference between somebody who really, people need to vent, but then there's a difference between somebody who lacks fucking awareness. And it's I've seen it way too many times at open mic where the guy I'm the funniest cab driver. That's great. You're not funny. So whatever you say is not entertaining. You think it is, but you're being mocked. That person, especially women are the worst. A woman who thinks they are funny. It's all the guys think I'm funny because they want to fuck you, you stupid bitch. What do you not understand? How does that not cross? And they post these 2-paragraph. And this is when you get older. Like this one, I'm grateful. I'm stuck with this at least. Like I know what I got. Like thank God she's fucking beautiful. Like I can't. Like you ever see 2 fat people? They make me depressed. When you see a fat couple, ugly fat people make me depressed. And it's like you hold that hand with pride. It's like, I love her with all my heart. No, you don't love. 2 fat people don't love each other. They never fully love each other because that's what they're
argue over. They have to have arguments over who's going to eat all the food in the house, right?
But that's why they get 8 pieces of pizza, and they go, well, we'll go on the diet once we reach 700 pounds each. Like that's why I love this one wouldn't be with me if she didn't know that other women wanted to fuck me. Like if no other woman wanted to fuck me, she wouldn't want to be with me. So that's why these like fat girls and these ugly fat dudes. I know this is wrong, and this is like fat people and ugly people are about 98% of the horror podcast world. Go fuck yourself. It's a fact. They're together because they don't want to be alone. That's the worst. Like those are the people that those are other people who lack self-awareness. Like I know I could be a jerk off. I know that. Like I know all the shittiness about me. I'm aware of that. It's the people who are lacking that self-awareness. Here's a good one, Cody. You'll like this one. There's 2 things that have been bothering me for a while. Besides the word literally, I hate that word because it's always misused and shouldn't be used the majority of the time. But 2 things as of late is when you have people. I've graduated college, but I went to college for a purpose, and I got to I used that degree. One of the degrees that I have, I used that. But I hate, and I truly hate, when people say, I'm a college graduate, so I deserve a job, and anybody who doesn't go to college, that's a stupid move. Yeah, how about the mechanic who went to the trade school and he or her is doing really well being a mechanic or a master mechanic? They didn't have to go to college. Like somebody going to college and they studied interpretive dance. Like, what are you doing with that? You're working Dairy Queen. All right, you're not making money. And the other one, this is another big misconception when people hear and they just like they think the person is great because of this. When somebody says, "Oh, I own my own business," now that can go one of 2 ways. You talk to a woman or a man saying, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I own my own business." "Oh, what do you do?" And a woman or a man says, "I run an HVAC company. I have 5 locations in 2 different states." That's amazing. That's impressive. Versus the guy or the girl says, "Hey, what do you do?" "I run my own business. I own my own business." "What do you do?" "I clean gutters." "Oh, okay." When you own your own business and it's something that a 15-year-old could do on a weekend, you don't own your own business. You're too lazy and too stupid to work at Walmart. You don't have any skills in life, so you pick the bottom of the fucking barrel. And these people are easy to scope out too. They usually, this way you know it's a shit. One, a kid could do your job, right? A kid could do your job. 2, when you got more than 2 family members in the business, it's not a business, dude. You got what young people say, you got a side hustle.
Yeah.
You might put an LLC by the motherfucker, but you're too fucking dumb to get hired at Dollar General because they drug test and you like to smoke some pot, which is fine. Yeah. But just when people ask, "What do you do?" "I'm a piece of shit. I got to work for myself." That's what I do. Just do that. I'll respect you. I'll have respect for you.
Yeah, I mean, and going back a little bit, what you were saying a few minutes ago about women and why they would truly date somebody, that was, before I forget this point that I wanted to make, that was another big hurdle when I was in my late teens, early 20s that I really had to figure out how to get over on my own, which no one had the guts to tell me, "Hey, no woman's going to want to date a cripple like you." And I kind of wish someone would have told me that, because it took me quite a while to figure that out. And here's the thing. It's not just the aspect of my disability. It's what comes along with a disability. The fact that I can't work, the fact that I don't have money to support, the fact that I can't protect or reproduce or be a father. It's all this all in one thing that comes along with a disability. And it kind of goes back to how I found out that I could find personal happiness without these traditional things that society pressures onto us. And that is, I don't need a girlfriend. You know, I don't.
To talk to. You need somebody to trust. Because look, I get it. When I first started getting sick, like I knew, again, after the age of 21, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 21. Not for religious reasons. I was scared. Here's what I was scared about. Can I keep my dick hard while pulling the condom on? And then I also had these fears because the one thing I'm allergic to is penicillin. So I was around a lot of real dirty women in my area. So I never went all the way. And so at 21, I got my first like true girlfriend. And I was the first like real piece of filth. And oh my God, I wouldn't say addicted to sex. I just loved it. I wouldn't turn it down from, any woman pretty much. But what I learned was it's a great line by great late comic Patrice O'Neill, and I relate to this, is he said, "My sex is cheap, my love is not." And that's how it was with me. And that's what I also learned too, when I would get sick, a lot of girls just wouldn't know how to put up with that. It didn't matter, money, looks, whatever. Shit didn't, if it was an inconvenience to them, shit wasn't real. I'm lucky to have at least two great women in my life. One's an ex that she was with me for 5 years. I had to let her go out of love because she was 7 years younger. And it's like I wasn't gonna waste her life. And she's one of my best friends to this day. I was never faithful to her. I was a piece of shit in that sense. But she stuck with me. She was thick and thin. And beautiful. Like it wasn't some like 300-pound girl that, you can abuse and kick her in the pussy, something like that. And she's going to stay with you. No. Like girls go looking at it was threatening. Other guys can look at her and but she stayed. And that's what I realized. That's what it comes down to is the loyalty. But you don't need, it's not about your traditional. If you could have a good looking woman or a woman you find attractive just to be your friend and just to be close to, I did nearly two and a half years sex free on purpose. I'm spiteful. If I get mad at a woman, I'm spiteful like that. I ain't gonna fuck you for 2.5 years.
I don't know, man. Like I get my disability and the way I've grown up and the challenges that I've gone through. I genuinely look at it as more of a positive than a negative. And if the only thing that bothers me when I meet new people is there's two things. For one, I don't like it when my friends tell these new people, "Oh yeah, Crippled Cody, he's funny." Just like what you said earlier, I don't view myself as funny either. The only thing that makes me funny to others is how unfiltered I am. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just who I am.
No, that's natural because your funny is like my funny mechanism of this is what we use to wash away the pain, to hide away, we'd rather make others laugh because we know we may never find that happiness. I know it's fucked up, but that's kind of what it is.
To a certain extent, yes, but it makes me happy to be able to not be on eggshells around people. Because I always tell people this, like, look, my disability, my challenges, the way I was born, it already took so much from me as far as freedoms, abilities, and other things that I could be doing as an able-bodied person like all of you are. Don't take away my freedom of speech. Don't take away my freedom of expression.
It's not like you're saying shocking things to say shocking things like, the Holocaust was a lie. Like those kind of people, like, okay, we've been through those, like the dog shit on funny, like the people shocking to be shockingly funny. And it's never that. It's always like, if you make me laugh because I know where it's coming from, and a lot of times I don't see the joke coming, but when I see it land, I'm like, oh, I know I get it. It's funny.
So it's not just because, yes, I do occasionally, you're right, I do sometimes enjoy saying things that make people like, what? He just fucking said that?
But it's not hacky to me. It's not a hack.
No.
Shit.
But, and I can't remember what the last episode was I said this on. It could have been 10 months ago, could have been a couple of years ago, but I also have a very strong belief that we as an American society, we're heading in the wrong direction. And I'm only going to say this just for the sake of, so you and everyone else can understand. You already understand, but anyone else that's listening. But you have this whole batch of socially unacceptable words like nigger and faggot. They have more power now than they did 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I'm telling you, Vince, we're not heading in the right direction because now those words are hurtful more
it's
than
getting better
ever.
now. I can say it's getting, people are finally pushing back. And also it was what happens. Okay. So a big thing is how to crumble a society. And you can see this in Venezuela. You can see this in Cuba. You can see this in many other places. It's been done. You want to keep your people stupid. And the old way of doing it was to hide information, keep them ignorant, hide the information. What America has done very well is we're going to overload you with information and we're going to make you the star. So here's all these social media platforms and your opinion matters. And well, this person has a lot of followers, so that person, no matter what they say, is factual. And with that becomes this instant gratification when we have this likes and attention to it. What that also does when people get so used to being loved and liked because of what they said, if they have a belief that's not popular, they are afraid and then they start feeling ashamed to even believe that. Yep. It's especially words like what you like saying things, and this, a lot of things are not hurtful and or not meant to say, like, but to, for instance, when people started trying to ban books, and I know the big thing was I never read it. I don't have the desire to read it, but this was the book by Adolf Hitler, Mein Kampf. Want to ban that? I would say against banning that, because if you want to understand what true evil is, real evil, well, there's your playbook. Understand it so you know what to look for. That's my view of seeing. It shouldn't be required reading it in a school. I'm not saying that, but if somebody wants to, investigate that darkness, okay. And I know people can make the argument and say, well, they read that, then they might become the next one. And no. It's not. And that's already been, and you could use that for many other literature that's out there. I just don't like banning of anything. If somebody is being a true bigot, racist online, they shouldn't be hidden. They shouldn't be banned. Again, you want to see what stupidity is? Here's this person's Twitter. Here's this. That's how know where it's at. Why keep it? I think majority of people are smart enough to understand and think for themselves. But that's where we get into this whole, again, then becomes more political, and we see it now where, as it was in 2016, where we really saw and I haven't voted since the year 2000, and I voted for Ralph Nader back then because I didn't like the other two candidates. Which is really my reason why a lot of 18-year-olds shouldn't vote. It's not really good. Like, yeah, Ralph Nader was hanging out with Eddie Vedder, so I guess he's a shoo-in. That was my logic. But I saw really back in 2016 and how everybody out of nowhere just started hating Donald Trump. And the way I viewed it was very simple. I don't think maybe it wasn't that simple, but here's how I viewed it. I viewed who was truly against him in terms of politics. And when it was a lot of the politicians on both sides that I couldn't stand, I thought, okay, this guy might be decent as a president. If that person, that loony Republican and that loony Democrat hate that person so much. So I say this, like, if somebody's pointing out who the enemy is, look who has power, who's against that person. That should tell you a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do not look at it that way.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. It's like, again, pro wrestling fan. I've always said, like, I don't get into politics because I love wrestling. Like, I know, at least with wrestling, I know it's a work. Politics, they say it's not a work, but I know it's a work. I'd rather watch wrestling for my entertainment because politics is just too depressing.
It's funny you mention it like that because for this past several months, almost a year now, I have been paying attention to politics, but it's for the entertainment. Yeah. And someone just asked me at the beginning of the summer, they said, why do you, because right now I sometimes will watch Piers Morgan Uncensored. I recently started watching Prime Time with Alex Stein. He's a really funny guy. I don't agree with all of their opinions, but I will
recommend on YouTube. He's a logical progressive because he's split down. He just calls it down the middle. Is Jimmy Dore, who's also a pretty good, very funny comic.
Okay.
And he was the one back in 2016 saying, yeah, Trump's not the enemy. And this is coming from a guy who was on the Young Turks. So I always like him. And plus he has a couple of great guests on that are hysterically funny. So they take the most saddest part of politics and can make it really funny while also explaining, here's the facts.
And that's kind of what I've been enjoying lately. And I told one of my friends that a couple of months ago. I told her, I said, politics have become professional wrestling. Just it's not even that I'm taking a side, because at the end of the day, come November, it's no sweat off my nutsack either which way who wins, to be completely honest. It's not going to affect me, at least as far as I know right now, in a big way either which way. But that's what I always tell people too. Stop.
Well, I can actually tell you without getting a huge political thing is, and again, I'm not going to vote. At least with if Trump gets in, I like RFK Jr. a lot. We do get a better shot at better health care. That's the thing. Because I got screwed over because of Obamacare, and it wasn't Barack Obama's genius idea to ruin that. That was a plan in the works for a long time. And the fact is, if Mitt Romney got in 2012, we would have Obamacare. It would just be called Romney Care, and I still would have got the short end of the stick, which I did. So it's, again, I know the history very well. But yeah, if I think this election is the one where it's like we saw what 4 years of Trump was and what 4 years of Biden was, and now we kind of know.
And let's be honest, there's a stark contrast of what went wrong, when it went wrong, and when it went decently. I don't know. Like,
it's one of the, like, there's things that I terribly disagree with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I'll always say I can't hate the guy is I'm very anti-war. And the fact that he didn't start one war in office, and this is, we know the horrible assassination attempt, and honestly, not even joking, like I don't want to see any politician,
nobody
ever.
I got upset when Biden fell off of his goddamn bike. Like, I don't want to see any of them get.
Oh no, that was funny. That was funny to me because he's like, that's just self-inflicted.
It was funny to a certain extent, but like at the same time, like, man, I feel bad because like I don't know, he's our president, and like I don't know.
I could see that, but at the same time, like, that guy locked up innocent black people.
Yeah. You know what? And you don't have to comment on it if you don't want to, but I'm not afraid to say on my own show, I don't vote either because I don't care enough. But if I did vote this time around, I'd vote for Trump. I don't even give a fuck who that offends.
It comes down to this, like it's the most when he's, and this was shocking to me. This was fact checked, and this was also fact checked by people who are progressive and more liberal, because most people are progressive or liberal. So this was fact checked that Donald, and I was shocked to hear this, that Donald Trump was the first president in office address homelessness and how to solve it. Now, this is like the thing that I like about Trump, because he does say things off the top of his mind, like you should really think out first, and he just says it anyway. And he talked about solving homelessness. Like, you know what? We did it. We'd have these really nice, big, beautiful tents. And I'm like, his heart's in the right place, but he's describing these tents on how beautiful they are.
He's a classic movie villain, and I know that's what everyone gets butthurt about, but that's what I love about him.
But and he's the odd one where he's like, he actually, this is what throws me off is, and it threw off a lot of people, but again, it goes back to who hated him. He's a billionaire who doesn't want to start a war, who calls it the military industrial complex, who wants to get us safer food, stop using these poisons in it, get us true health care that's affordable, be more transparent about what is going into the medication, but also get the medication down to a low price, secure borders, because there's many reasons on that. He's saying all the stuff that
Christ.
Nobody else has said. And then the most beautiful part is a lot of friends I grew up with in Philly, I still my friends, and majority are black, and they were with Trump since 2016, and that's why I would laugh when people try to still play identity politics. And the thing, like I always say, you should at least any dude who isn't black should have at least a couple real. Like you either have to have a true redneck friend or a true black friend, and what that really means is they don't give a shit. They're going to tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it. And that's what I love now when I'm hearing identity politics is no longer working for the Democrats, because they're going around. Yeah, because you're going around barbershops and talking to black dudes like, who are you going to vote for? Yeah, Trump. Oh, what about Kamala? Yeah, I don't fuck with her. It's like,
man, I just kind of feel like right now the far left is out of control. I'm not even afraid to say it, because
it's here's why they are. It comes down to this was whether it's true or not. I always had this theory of, again, being very anti-war. A war should only happen if it's truly necessary, and there has to be a true valid reason when money's not the number one objective. And it's been working for quite some time. Look at the issues that are finally, they've been here for a couple of years, but they've been building up for such a long time. Transgender issues being a big one. What that is to me is the great distraction. So many people get caught up on that of who should use the men's room, and this, while these other dirty tactics are going on in Washington, where people are getting fucked out of healthcare. Wages are going down, taxed on Social Security, so they can't retire at 65 anymore. They got to wait till 70 if they can make it that long. That's the distraction. We're going to get distracted by stupid social issues. I'm old enough, being at 42, where gay marriage was the hot button topic, and to me, that never bothered me. I never understood. I was like, okay, well, yeah. And the debate was, this is how people like, and this is how it kind of switched, where the far left is batshit crazy. Back in the 90s, it was the far right was real batshit crazy.
Right.
And their thing with gay marriage was, this was one of their, and this was a valid, to them, it was valid, the same way they didn't want to war against gay marriage. And their main reason was, well, then they could start, and then somebody can marry their dog. Like, I don't think that's it.
Gay marriage, trans marriage, none of that has an effect on other people, because it's not any of our business what's going on. Yeah. My only issue, and I've said this plenty of times, my only issue is the pronoun, forceful pressure pronoun game. That's my only issue.
And that's a big one too, because I don't get, like I always say this, whatever is a pronoun. That's the fact. So I just, whatever. Just call them whatever. It's a pronoun. That's not my pronoun. I don't care.
Whatever over there, whatever they think they are. Yeah.
And back in 2012, I hired, didn't say it on the interview. I didn't ask, but I knew this person just transitioned to a woman or to a man, because I never saw a man who's 5'1" with beautiful eyes. So I'm like, I knew. But to me, I didn't hire him to go like, oh, I'm a good person. No, he was the best person for the job. I didn't give a shit. And later on, I asked, and he told me a story, and it made sense. I'm like, okay, I get it. because he said, ever since I could remember, I always felt like I should have been a man, and it made complete sense to me. Like, okay, I get it. I know two other people that are trans, and one was also I kind of could figure out why they had a kind of real fucked up thing happen to them, but all their stories, it made sense to me, and not because I knew them. It's just how they explain them. Like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, they're not thrown in anybody's faces.
Good.
Like, that's what I get. But what scares me, this is where I'm against it. If I'm against it at this point, if a child is 6 years old, and I did this at I think the age of 5, I put on my mom's high heels at the age of 5 and was trying to walk around on them. She didn't tell my dad because he would have came home and called me a faggot. Because that's Italian family, that's what happens. And
I bet Mike's snorting right now.
Yeah. Hopefully arsenic. But yeah, it's like every kid tried.
Okay, I'm glad it was just a second, but we got our confirmation.
Yeah, with that awful audio. Yeah, but like every kid has probably tried all their mom's shoes at one point because it's like, it's funny. But now it's like if a kid might pick up their sister's Barbie doll at the age of 5, you got these parents, not all, but some go, well, I think he could be a girl. It's you grow and I knew I had a friend. He hung himself at the age of 15 because he didn't know how to come out of the closet. He told me, and it didn't bother me, and because that stayed with me. That stayed with me for still to this day. To know that, and that's why he took his own life, and that was in 1997. And to know like that, there's still like that. My little hippie side is happy to see that kids can come out and say, "Hey, I'm gay." It's not like it was.
Yeah, with no social repercussions. Yeah, I agree with you. It is like, a good thing.
But then when you're pushing it, and what makes me sick is I wish I knew all the show's names. I don't watch them. But we have young children, I'm talking under the age of 10, dressing up in drag with adult drag queens. Anything involving children's just fucked up. It's weird.
That infuriates me.
That's where there's no tolerance there. And this is the other thing too. Like I had a friend of mine, he's older gay guy, and this always makes me laugh when I think about it. When gay marriage became legal in Philadelphia, I said, "Oh, you must be happy." He goes, "Oh, fuck no, I've been avoiding this since I was gay." Which is, and I was like, and then it just dawned on me, like, oh yeah, he's still a dude. He's a dude who doesn't want to get married. I fucking get it.
Yeah.
Then I have a friend who, he's transitioned to a woman. He identifies only as a woman. I can't call him as, but I know him that it makes him sick to know that there's what he calls fake trans who are really pedophiles who pretend to be trans so they can go into a woman's room and prey on kids and young women. So it's like, we can hate it all we want. We can be so, we'll never reach the level of somebody who truly has to deal with that, who's in that community with the pieces of shit that are there. So I've seen it from all sides. It doesn't make me some liberal. I'm just more, I guess, enlightened when I'm around those types of different people. And like, guess what? My friends who's trans, he still likes sports. And when we talk sports, I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking fag. Like, I'm still going to call him that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like,
so I have a trans friend too. And he didn't transition into a woman until he was like 26. And when he came out and told people, I was one of the very few that he told, and I was proud of that. Like I was very happy that I was someone that he could trust to talk to about that, because he knew that I wasn't going to put him down for it. And that's the thing. When some people, they think, oh, I found out I got a guy friend who's gay, he must be out after my butthole. No, that's not how it fucking works. Just because someone's gay doesn't automatically mean they're after you. Well, that's such a close-minded way of thinking about it.
One of the last times I was on stage, this came from reality. Like anything I do now, if I go on stage, is from reality. One of the friends I'm still friends with, I've been friends since high school, and he was a jock. I had true diverse friends in high school,
which is a good.
Yeah, I was a weirdo because I was in AP classes, but I was great at sports. That was like they never really went well together, but I was one of those. But I was friends with almost everybody, and so when his son was around 5. I remember I'm talking to his wife, and his wife kind of comes out to me and is like, I think James is gay. And I said, yeah, he might be. Because he was very feminine. 5 was a little over the top. And his wife's cool as shit. And we could talk, but she could, like, I can't tell Craig, and he might. So this is what an asshole I am. This is his son's 11th birthday party. And 2 weeks before, I'm over the house and talking to his James, and he flipped on the TV because we want to watch TV. I said, "Oh, can I watch it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, watch." So he puts on not TLC, yeah, one of those. It was like a fashion show, and it was about like making dresses and shit. And he's into it, like he's into it. And I go, okay. So I asked him, like, oh, James, do you like that? He's like, oh, I think it's so fascinating how all this stuff is made. I would love to do that. I go, okay. I get him a cool ass sewing kit and a bedazzle kit too for his birthday, right? So at the birthday party, he's opening up all the gifts. Like, it's from your Uncle Vince. He opens it up. The gayest, most cutest came out. My friend Craig elbows me and goes, what the fuck, dude? Goes, he's a boy. I go, what? And this is me being a dick that I am. I'm surprised he didn't hit me. I said, what do you want me to do? Get him a baseball bat so he can deep throat it? I go, your kid's gay. Just fucking own it.
Right.
Well, this kid came out, 2 years later, go, I like boys. They have a good relationship, thank God, because of his wife. Like, don't be an asshole. And the way I told him privately, and maybe this, I think is good advice. I said, dude, don't come down on your son. He's going to suck as much black and Puerto Rican dick as he can by he's in college. So I just wanted to put that thought to my friend's head so he wouldn't be a dick to his son, because I wanted him to have that thought of his son sucking dick constantly to get back at his dad.
Yeah, I mean, and plus you got to desensitize him before it's too late, before he tries to verbally abuse, or not. I don't want to say verbally abuse, but come down on him for. Yeah,
it's like sometimes you can't, and that kid, like, he's very feminine. Like, you can't fight it. It's not. I've had a friend, Jeff. Mike remembers this guy. He doesn't talk to me anymore, and now he's out of the closet because I once had I could be really rough. I had that, there's tough love, and there's rough love with me. I'm going rough, and I knew this guy was gay. Doing stand up with him, and I said, dude, come out of the fucking closet. Everybody knows you're gay. Oh, he doesn't friends me on Facebook, won't talk to me. Then 2 years later, I find out he's gay. I'm like, where's my thank you? I gave you the courage, you homo. It was me. It was me. I was a fucking martyr. Had to take that bullet. Had to take your gay bullet. You can't be friends with me because I told you you're gay. Just come out. Just be fucking open with it.
I definitely agree that, people should feel comfortable with whoever they are and whatever they are. I am wholeheartedly against letting underage people put drugs into their system and body mutilation surgeries under the age of 18. because I think it's possible that someone could change their mind when they get a little older. But if someone's an adult and they, it's all about the personal pursuit of happiness, and it's none of our business of each other's personal pursuit of happiness. You either want to support someone out of love and respect, or you don't. Get away from the people, right?
Here's one way of looking at it. Like we always say, do it safely. This is going to sound messed up, but it's like I love to have sex, right? Love having sex. I'll go further. Who doesn't like to jerk off once in a while? Just a good jerk, right? But you do it in the privacy. It's safe. You're doing it privately. You're doing it safely. Here's where it's dangerous. Middle school playground, you just start jerking off. Now, okay, that's how I view messing with kids' estrogen levels and testosterone levels before the age of 18. You're jerking off in front of a middle school playground.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Like, hey, you know what? It's fine if you do it alone at the right time.
And the thing is like, I'm not even religious. I'm not religious. I don't have like over the top religious beliefs, but I live in reality. And in reality, like, we all know that when we're in our teens, we don't truly always know what we want for the rest of our lives. And it's not that people should be put down for how they feel in their teens. Like, yes, open up about it, talk about it, dress how you even want to, have the mannerisms that you want to. But yeah, I personally take the stance that 18 should be like, okay, you're 18 now, fine, go ahead and jump through the hoops.
I have to tell this story. I don't know if I told this before, but only because he said, and you made a great point. Like, it's true. Before we're 18, we really don't know. And even after that, we're still trying to figure it out. Even up to the age of 30, it could be still trying to figure shit out.
Correct me if I'm wrong about this, but doesn't the brain not fully develop until mid-20s ish or late?
That's what they said for men. For men, I think women it's 21 or 23. Men it's 25.
Supposedly it's a little bit younger than for women, yeah. But so
and
yeah,
that's not all either, but the majority, yes. But when you said like we don't know who we are, so like best friends growing up. So paint this picture. Grew up in Philly. I got kicked out of Catholic school because I was a problem. They kicked me out. They passed me, and Catholic school was rough, especially the one I went to in Philly. And it's all about repressing. It really was repressing of like George Carlin. Was it? I think it was George Carlin who said it. Where I can't believe I'm going to blank on the correct comedian I want to give credit for. But he said the best way to describe Catholicism is if it feels good, don't do it. And that's, that was Catholic school to me. Whatever made sense. I got in trouble because in second grade, I had a Fangoria magazine in my school bag and my teacher saw it. But yet we're going to learn the real gruesome details. They didn't skip any of the details about how Jesus was crucified. That's okay. But Jason Voorhees, he's not real. And there's a devil, which I never believed in. I want to believe there's a God. I like to believe that, but I will never believe there's a devil. So I say all that about Catholic school to tell you this story. I was always best friends with my friend Mike. Not retard Mike. There's another Mike. Very normal.
Yeah. A more respectable Mike, yeah.
A very respectful Mike. Friends with him since the age of 6. And he graduated from this Catholic school. But when I moved out of the city of Philadelphia, in 95, we'd always see each other, like at least once every 2 months. So every 2 months, he'd come over to my house, sleep over for the weekend. I go down to his house, sleep over. And he was still friends with a lot of friends I was friends with at the Catholic school. So this is a great lesson about what we don't know who we are before we're 18 and we can experiment. These two guys I knew since first grade in kindergarten were hanging out. We're just walking the city blocks of Philly. This is like 97, 98. We're about 16 at the time. And we're at this one baseball field. And what we were going to do that night, we got a couple cigars. So we're going to smoke them later. We couldn't get alcohol, so that was our bad kid thing to do. We're going to smoke these cigars. And these two guys, again, this is kindergarten. They go off behind this tree. And friend Mike, other friend's there. I go, what are they doing? My friend Mike, without skipping a beat, goes, yeah, they suck each other's dicks. Just like that. I'm not kidding. And I thought he was joking because my friend Mike's hysterically funny. And I'm like, no, really, what are they doing? And then his friend Tom goes, no, they suck each other's dicks. I go, what? What the fuck? What the fuck? And so I say this now to say this part. I found out years later, one of them has a heroin addiction, and the other hasn't been heard from in quite some time. Still alive, apparently, but yeah. They were finding out who they were. They didn't really make the right choices. And one of them ended up with a heroin addiction because they wanted to experiment by sucking each other's dicks.
I don't know what to say, man. Like teenage years are the scariest part of your life, but it's also the most exciting part because you don't know.
Well, that's where I think I developed my personality. Is as a teen, it was almost like I was living a double life. I had my friends in North Philly, and then I had my friends in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Two completely different things. Like I've always said, I didn't learn how to steal a car radio from my Jew friends. Like they taught me how to be great at algebra. Like that's why I had great diverse friends. I knew who to go to. But it was horror movies that was my thing. Horror movies, video games, playing guitar, playing drums, piano, whatever I get my hands on an instrument, I'd play it, and just spending time with friends. I developed a personality because I was so shy to talk to women. I just thought no woman wanted me. So I learned how to be a woman's friend first, which I think was better. Now, granted, I was a real piece of shit boyfriend for nearly 20 years because I would cheat on every single girlfriend I nearly ever had. I'm like a homeless guy. Dude, that's free food. I'm not turning that down. It's like, yeah,
right.
I got to do what I got to do. But yeah, it's like, those are your big time. That's your growing time as a teenager. And do you ever have friends that were you friends with as teens? Were like, this guy's a piece of shit. He's never going to amount to anything. And then they become a great person.
Yeah. And I also have had friends that were good people in their late teens and then now is a huge piece of shit. So
yeah, it can swing either way. It's like what road they go down. I've never.
It's one of the biggest reasons also why I am thankful that I was born with a pretty extreme physical disability because it stopped me from making bad decisions. If I was able to get my own hands up to my face, I probably would be a chain smoker. I'd probably be an alcoholic, God knows what else, because I grew up around it. I was surrounded by almost every single one of my older family members were either drug addicts and or alcoholics or smokers, something like that. So, and the only reason I never got into it is because it wasn't convenient that I could do it on my own. So
it's nearly impossible. There's a way you can, but still,
wasn't worth it.
Yeah. Plus, you get addicted to nicotine. Like I still vape. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but I enjoy vaping. And the nicotine actually does help my dopamine levels, which is needed. But if you get addicted to nicotine, then you're dependent not only on the nicotine, but somebody getting it for you.
Right. And another thing, like I got lucky too, because when I was in my late teens, I did have a time period where someone said, "Oh, here, I'll put a straw in this drink for you. Drink it up." And I did. I've been drunk a couple of times throughout my late teens, and I also took a few hits off of my friend's cigarettes, and somehow I never got into any of it.
It takes with a cigarette. It takes a couple before you really start to hit you. I used to steal cigarettes when I moved to the suburbs. I stole cigarettes for my friends because they didn't know how to do that, and they would get caught. So I would steal them. The one time I was giving them out, there was a pack of Marlboro medium menthols, and nobody smoked those, so I kept them. And I had one, and here and there I have another. And one day I skipped school to listen to Howard Stern interview Bon Jovi. So it sound like this is like I deserve this punishment. I chain smoked and I threw up. And I was like, I'm never going to smoke again. But really, my mind was like, I was never going to smoke menthols again. And then a couple years later, I just started smoking regular cigarettes, and I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like, I definitely deserve to throw up. Like, that's not a valid reason to skip school to listen to fucking Bon Jovi on Howard Stern.
I'm telling you, I probably, from the age of 17 to almost 20, I was drinking probably almost on a weekend, like every week on a weekends, like, and it was like a social thing. It was kind of a peer pressure thing, and because it also helped me sleep at night. I had a lot of anxiety trying to sleep at night because my parents always fought. So if I drank a little bit, it would pass me the fuck out. But then for some reason, when I turned 20, I just thought, like, you know what? I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my uncles. I don't want to be like any of that. So I just immediately just stopped, and I have not been truly intoxicated since 2006. I was 19.
It's the same thing like CM Punk, the famous wrestler. He's straight edge because of what he saw his dad, especially. I think that's how he tells the story. And that's why he's never drank, never did drugs, never smoked, because his dad, I believe, was an alcoholic. And I think CM Punk, he told a story where his dad was late picking him up for baseball practice. And he said, it was even worse. My dad was one of the coaches. And, being scared to death to get in the van with my dad because he's drunk driving me home. It's like, if you're around it, you either go one of two ways. You either join it or you're like, I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. Now, so I personally don't like labels. So people have asked me that before. Well, do you consider yourself straight edge, Cody? No, I don't. And here's why. If I go out with a friend and they want me to have a drink with them, I will. I have had a drink here and there throughout the years, but I'm so confident. I'm so confident in my strength that I know I'm not going to get into it. So like, if I have a drink with a friend, I'm not enjoying it, but I know they're enjoying my company and that I'm having a drink with them. So yeah, I'll have a drink here and there, but I've never actually been drunk since 2006. And I know it in my heart. I will never get addicted to alcohol. I know it. So I don't like straight edge labels, but you know what I mean? I don't know.
And I get it. It's like, even though I don't drink anymore, my body stopped breaking it down for whatever reason, and I don't miss it. I was just always fortunate I never got addicted to it. I mean, if you didn't know me, you saw me drinking tonight, you would think, fuck, Vince got a drinking problem. No, I could just tolerate it. I enjoyed it, but I never drank to get drunk. I knew my limits. Like, I'm going to stop, and that was my thing. Like, I do want to do this. I think because Mike, if you can come on camera, I want to address this retarded elephant in the room.
Is he still awake? Mike, are you awake? Come on to the camera. There he is.
I'm here, yeah.
Okay, let's discuss why Mike is such a pain in the ass. Okay, we're gonna because here's what I realized. Everybody I've ever worked with, on a show with, I still talk to, and then Mike, I think you're down to like 2 people left. So I want to explain. Yeah.
There's Theo. Don't forget Theo.
What? We can't hear you. His walkie-talkie isn't working properly today.
Yeah, it hasn't been at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, why is the network so down? I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe because you have shitty equipment.
Breaker? Like, what is this, a CB that's out of range? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, okay, barely. Okay, I'm going to give you advice here. So you have, and I wish he would have came on. So I don't know his first name. I'm not going to call him by his title, but say Mr. Mahoney. I know there was some outrage because he didn't have a stand for his phone. If I'm Mike, I would say this: hey, could you put it on, a couple, like standing on a book, or hey, I found one on Amazon for $4, which you can get them on $4. And what upsets me about Mahoney is I don't want to see a man like that get used. Not by Mike. I'm not saying that, but I'm seeing that go on way too much. This is new, like people just like taking advantage of somebody who's not all there. Like I understand I get it. Not making fun of him. I don't know what his condition is. I know somebody's going to take advantage of him because he's a little bit slower, and that shit pisses me off. But Mike should also be a little more, I don't know, show leadership, Mike. Mike, can you get on camera if your camera's still working, sir? I was about to say something really mean to Mike.
What?
I can't. Can you hear? Can you
So
hear
a
me?
little leadership there. Like, see that advice? Like, hey, just put it on a book stand. And like pretty much, Mike, you piss everybody off. I don't know how you do it. Like Cody, this what a good management Mike is. Mike wants to do a show. He doesn't know a title for it, so I give him a title. I can't come up with a story, so I give him the whole thing. I give Mike his character name, and because I'm a little bit too hard to work with and controlling, here's Mike's idea. Yeah, let's get rid of the funniest guy who makes this show work off the show, and see how that works. Yeah, it didn't work out too well, did it? Yeah, those Horlick episodes are pretty fucking bad, weren't they?
That was three. I think 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, because Mike thought he was the star of the show. Mike thought he was funny.
Well,
and we realized.
I mean, it's Skippy, for Christ's sake. Everybody loves Skippy. We know this.
Yeah, no, not without this. And like that's what made it. You got to realize, like, here's what you have to do, Mike. View it this way: let people just do their own thing. Like, who wants to get in these wars, like these quotation wars? You got like shows like I'm going to stake out and watch a show. Like, what are you doing? You're an adult. Like, I got a day off today, and I purposely want to spend with Cody because I like Cody.
Thank you. I like you too.
Could you imagine? You reveal your life's around. I'm going to try to mock a crippled guy who is slower than a Dodge Dart and stalk him all the time and try to make his life like people do that shit. Like, you can't know. No, look at him. What are you going to do to Mike that God hasn't already done to him? Is what I'm saying. Like, he's just we know he's
God has pretty much fucked me. Let's just,
especially in the face area.
I mean, holy shit, you're right.
Just think, your mom's up there now laughing along with God at you.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it.
It's kind of a stretch saying she's up there. I
Mike,
mean,
give us the snort laugh if there's ever. Okay, she's up there with Donald Pleasance. How about that? They're all up there having a steak.
Yeah, they're all fucking her. They're just fucking the shit out of her, taking turns. When one's just got her leg just in the corner with it, getting it all nice and then shoving it in.
Yeah, no.
I fucked her 6 times. I fucked her in the heart. I tell you.
She's getting to know Donald Pleasance way better than you'll ever get to know Donald Pleasance right now.
I mean, well, wait, but he was cremated, so are his ashes?
Oh no, his spirit's up there. No, his spirit. His spirit goes there, not the physical body. That's how it works. So yeah, Donald's in there, and he's yeah.
I would enjoy his essence.
And your mom.
Well, I mean, I would love to like eat his ashes. Like, if I could, I would eat them.
If that wasn't the most faggot ass shit I've ever heard you say.
Well, here's a guy. This
guy
gets leggings from Danielle Harris.
I still have them on my wall upstairs.
And he's done stuff with them. He's done, and you have.
I just smelled them.
Yeah. Well, what else were you doing?
I just smelled them.
Yeah. What else were you doing?
Smelled them because they smelled orange.
Yeah. What else did you do? While you're smelling them, what did you do? Do something?
No, I couldn't do something. That was the problem. I couldn't do something.
Hey, real quick, have I ever told you guys my Danielle Harris story? I don't think I've ever told this story before.
You met her?
Yes, I did meet her, and it's really funny
how did that not come out on any goddamn show in the world?
Cody, here's why it didn't come out, Mike. Mike, this is why it didn't come out.
Yeah.
When you have me here, you get
Yeah.
good results. You just talked about how you made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watched Matlock for 8 hours because people love hearing that shit.
Well, actually, no, I'm partial to Perry Mason, not Matlock.
Yeah, see, exactly. See, Cody. So where did you meet her at? Was it a horror convention?
Yeah, so it was back in, I think, 2009. It was the late aughts. And it was my very first convention I ever got to go to. And I had no idea how things worked. I didn't know that, you went into this lobby and these celebrities and actors were at their own table and you could literally walk around up to their tables and talk to them. And if you do, it's kind of an unsaid rule, but if you go up and talk to them, you probably should buy something off of them or else don't waste their time. Well, I was in my powered wheelchair at the time, and I was just kind of zooming around. And I went up to Danielle Harris, and she had her hair like different than what you would see in either Rob Zombie's Halloween movies or even Hatchet. Yeah, she had it like up in like a like kind of like pigtailish type of.
Okay.
So I went up to her table, and she was super nice to me. We were talking for a few minutes, and she had things at her. She had pictures and she had I think they were also selling like DVD copies of Hatchet 2 and no, Hatchet 2 didn't come out till 2010, I believe. So no, maybe that wasn't. But anyway, so we started talking and I said, "Oh yeah, I like that." And she realized that I didn't know who she was and she goes, "I'm the girl from these Halloween movies, right?" And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh, you're Danielle Harris." And she's like, "Yes, I am." And so we talked for like a couple of minutes. She was super nice. She did not talk down to me or anything like that.
I would respect her too. Seriously.
No, she was not. She was I was embarrassed, but she was not like, and she didn't talk down to me as if I was a child or a retard or anything like that. She was just talking to me like
you were, and let's be clear, like you were probably the most normal looking person at these horror conventions. Let's go into like
she actually said that. She actually told me, she's like, it's refreshing to talk to someone who is not going to flirt with me or say something creepy to me. She said that.
And I believe it. And that's the like when Mike did a great job. I'll give this true credit here. Mike was always, I think this was his kind of a healthy, sometimes unhealthy addiction, but this is where you stem sometimes now. You got to stop. Don't do the power struggle thing anymore. There's no more power anymore. Just have fun with this shit, Mike. But back in when we're doing Rabbit and Red, what I realized was going on in Mike's life, I understood. So I let a lot of shit slide. Mike lost his job. Not any fault to himself. It was just the company went out of business. And I know doing what I thought was just something fun gave Mike a purpose. And I just called Mike one day. I'm like, on the show, I'm like, producer Michael J. Mike took that to heart. And he said, well, I'm really going to be a producer. So he started booking guests. And he was really damn good at it. Seriously, he was. And one of the guests was Danielle Harris. And he got that interview. And I think, Mike, that's what kind of goes on today. It's not 2010 anymore. Now you got to have fun with this shit. Let the bullshit slide. Like, yeah, there's a couple people like fuck them. They're going to be pathological liars. That's just who they are. But you're going to have other people. Don't hurt those around you who actually want to be a part with you. I've done it myself. And I come out of this place, like I say this lovingly. I'm not saying to bust your balls about doing a character, but am I not wrong? Am I wrong by saying that? I don't think I am, because I do believe back then that gave you, and I didn't give it to you. I think you took it and I liked it, but that gave you a sense of responsibility again, because that's a horrible feeling when you lose a job that you loved and you were good at. And I think Rabbit and Red was the only thing that you had, and you wanted everything to do with it. Am I right?
Well, that transcended from Rabbit and Red, then it went to Skeleton Crew, then it went to other shit. And, it's like, I have a thing, like, I put 100% into all of this. I always have, I always will. That's just how it is. And it's like, if I feel in any way, shape, or form that I'm being screwed. And believe me,
But
I've
nobody's
been
screwing you.
screwed. Well,
Yeah, but no, the majority of people, I think you get mad at, they're really not screwing you. I think your defense is, okay, I've legit changed as a person in a real sense. And you know what I was doing for a long time? I'm walking around like this, figuratively. But you start walking around like this the whole time, your shoulders get really tired.
Hmm.
And I learned to just like, I like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time said it best. And Cody, you'll know this one, Bret Hart. Bret Hart was talking about his feud with Shawn Michaels. And he's like, I was just carrying around this bag of rocks for so long. And one day I was just like, I gotta drop the bag of rocks. That's what I did. Like, I don't want to get like upset. And that's why I love everything I got to do back then. I won't do any of this stuff now, like consistently, because it's not for me. I think people who do it, the best thing you do is do it because you love doing it. Don't do it for attention. Never do it for the attention, because it's usually you're not going to get the attention you're looking for. But if you do it because you're passionate about it, do that. And also always be authentic. Like, own your shit. If you're a big, goofy white dude with a beard and a belly, own it. Like, that's who you are. Like, don't change for anybody. Don't let anybody fuck with you on that. Be who you are. Be passionate about why you love horror films. Don't be I know everything there is to know about horror, and I'm like, why? Nobody wants to listen to that shit. And the hateful, I don't know. I just don't understand all the. I'm an old dude now. I'm 42. I got a mortgage and shit, right? I just don't understand this. I'm going to attack people online, and I'm cool. You're acting like a 15-year-old. It's weird.
I will say, and just let me add here real quick. And this isn't me, because I don't take sides on nothing. I've had.
Oh, I know you don't. That's why I like it.
And I refuse to. I love Mike, and I also love the other guys who I also got to know over the last few years as well. I also wish we could all come together and just talk it out. I'm done with the bullshit. And had I known back in, I can't even remember what year it was that you originally suggested me to try out me on the show, but it's 2018, 2019.
Around that time, yeah. I just thought you were fucking great.
When I came on, I was under the impression that it was a group of friends talking about the things that we loved and were super passionate about. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying this is exclusively Mike's fault or exclusively anybody else's fault, but it has devolved into just a shit slinging contest. And every time I do one of these shows, even in this moment, right this fucking second for the last hour, I've had people messaging me, asking me to let them come on and just talk it out with Mike or you or anything like that.
Oh, God, you should have let them on. I didn't know that. I would have.
Yeah. I got people messaging me, asking me if they can come on and hash it out with Mike. I'm not in one control of that. Mike has to be the one.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I cannot let anyone on unless Mike. This is Mike's show. I mean, this is Mike's.
Yeah, and I originally, because I didn't want something else going down, because like I don't like to. The thing is, I don't, especially now in life, I don't like. I'll motherfuck you to your face. I can't do it through a computer screen. It feels like that's being a sissy. I'd rather. I love confrontation. I'm pretty always calm with it, but I like confrontation because I know I can find a peaceful resolution 99% of the time easily.
Yeah, no, I was just told I can say this out loud. During this whole time, Big Tom has been messaging me and asking me to let him come on. I can't do that unless Mike lets me. He wants to come on.
I don't have anything to say to him online. If he ever comes into where he used to live and I can see him in person, I'd love to actually have a real conversation with him. Not a hostile thing, but a true conversation. That whole thing, I truly, I get it to a point of the why. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. There's nothing that's going to be productive if and I'll go. I'm not gonna like dance around it. I'm better than he is in every single possible way. I don't. There's a lot of things him and I are different on, and it's very just bizarre how he goes about things, and it's way too juvenile. There's a point where you're an adult, you have to move on. Hey, if somebody wronged you and you think that person's a piece of garbage, whatever, move on. What are you going to get out of it? That's where it's like, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm better than you in that. I don't. If that man can actually be a man in the sense of, hey, look out for your family, you're making a living, keep making a living. Don't set yourself back by doing things that are not productive for whatever you do for work, whatever you do to help your family. It's not going to be productive for them or yourself. That's where I get really upset with, and I have no respect for that at all, because it's very cowardly, especially when you're thousands of miles away. And yeah, Mike could be a real asshole at times, absolutely. And I'm not playing the handicap card.
And I have no problem saying this out loud either. Like, Mike has social aspects about him that he has problems with. Like, Mike gets angry and then he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk with you after he's angry with you. And I wish we could help him with that. And I will say, like, people like Tom and some others have taken shots that I also wish they didn't take. But I also wish that I could somehow, it'll never happen, I want to acknowledge this, but I wish I could talk everybody into getting on together and just talking.
I'm with you.
Not yelling at each other.
I know. I'm 100% with you. I'm the moderator along with you.
And if it, I mean, not to make Mike uncomfortable, I hope he doesn't take this to wrong. If it was up to me, I would set up a show between Tom, Mike, maybe even Cody and Rob, and just have us all just in a mature adult fashion without high school aspects of it, just settle our differences. No, I'm not doing this, but just talk it out. And if we have to still go our separate ways, so be it. But then that way it's over with. That hatchet has been buried. I can't bring anyone on though. It's not my decision.
I do believe I don't even know the full situation with Cody and Mike, but I'll say this: I believe that could be easily worked out, because
it could be.
I believe that can. That's just because the whole fighting. And I see back when I did that, I did it out of boredom. I did it spitefully and controllingly. I would purposely get somebody to hate me. I knew what to do. I got off on pushing somebody's buttons and just being the puppet master. Go ahead, do that. Ooh, I'm gonna, and that's why that was me stroking my own ego. Like, this is how brilliant I am. I can get you to obsess about me and fuck up your whole show, make it about me.
Right.
Because that's what a kind of a prick I am. Just all I have to do is do one little thing, and I know you're going to listen. Yeah, that was me. I won't do that now. Like I said, I had my, the issues with what Mike's going on with the, guy in Florida. That's just it's terrible. It's stupid. It's really, again, it's not productive. That's what it really comes down to. Just not productive.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I could. I mean, I can't. This is just me just fantasy booking, but I wish I could announce that we're going to have a future show where people settle their differences, but it's not going to happen. Mike, I'm just going to tell, I wish you would let some people come on and hash it out, but I know you're not going to let that happen.
I think, you know what? No, it's a possibility. Here's how that can work. If we let in somebody rational to start with, I say Cody Robinson start with. Even we'll go Father Mahoney first.
He told me no. See, he's not even the one asking for. He didn't even ask me for anything like that.
Well, then we'll go Cody. We'll go Cody Robinson first. And I think you and I, as true moderators of, like, All right, like a presidential debate.
We'll be
That's really,
CNN.
yeah. I'll play the lying homo journalist because I'm starting to
Mr.
turn into one.
Sankovich, can you stop snorting? Mute his microphone. He's snorting too much. Mute his microphone. All right, Mr. Whatever. Your turn.
Yeah, that'll be a great debate there. We got one with cerebral palsy and then a southern accent. Just everyone will think it's.
And you're right though. The one person I wish so badly I could get Mike to talk to is Cody Robinson, because I don't think there was any heat between them two. Cody just Mike viewed it as he picked the wrong side. And I can understand from Mike's perspective, but I don't think Cody meant to go against anybody. Like, I picked no side. Cody wanted to continue to do stuff with Dognut, and I think that upset Mike, which I understand. But damn it, now that you really threw out that idea and we're talking about this, I sincerely wish. Fuck it, I'm going to say it right now. One of these days coming soon, me and Vince are going to moderate a conversation when Mike is ready and when other people are ready. But unfortunately, it's not tonight.
I'm for it. And Cody sent me a very nice message saying, "Hey, I'll listen." And he kind of explained the situation a bit, but he wasn't not at all attacking Mike. And I replied back, "Yeah, it's like I don't. Again, I stayed out of that stuff." And
he attacked me. He attacked me. Don't. He attacked me.
Yeah, but you've also attacked other people too, Mike. That's the like you can't throw stones and somebody throws a rock back at you and go, "Ow, that hurts." What are you doing? Like, well, you're throwing shit at me, and I just threw one back. You have to you got to roll with it, dude. Like that's it's like me if I'm attacking somebody, joking around, and they throw a joke back at me, I'm not going to go, "Oh my God, you hurt my feelings." Like, yeah, it's what happens.
You're not just going to replace the window that they broke with the rock and move on. You're going to want to break their window back, essentially,
And what I've learned from my situation with when Alex and I, we would go our back and forth, and we've been good for plenty of years now. And he's like, it's legit. When he told me when his wife was pregnant, how happy he was, photos, all that stuff. It's legit. And we buried our hatchets by being honest with one another. Like, and we both said, "Hey, here's where I was wrong." He told me where he was wrong. And we don't live in that anymore. And it was therapeutic because it was needed. And honestly, whatever, animosity that built up between us, because Alex and I were kind of like the same person. And really, like, he's meant to be a host. He's not meant to be the second guy. That's not who he is. So you can't have two captains of a ship. And that's where our butting of the heads were at. So I totally got it, and, never held it against him. Even like when I was fighting with him, I would just try to antagonize him just to like fire him up. Because again, that's me being a prick. But I'm glad all that shit's way behind us, and he's living a happy life. I don't think he misses this shit whatsoever. It's like we're both off the pirate ship now.
And that's the thing. No one's moving on until everyone puts themselves in that vulnerable position to sit down and fucking talk.
You need closure, or you need the truth, and the truth will come closure. But if you start like the other stuff that goes on, the back and forth of we're doing this and we're the like, what do you really accomplish?
You're just getting out your anger in the moment, and then that's it. Then you just hurt someone else's feelings, and then it's toxic back and forth with no end. And think about it. This all started like 7 months ago, if not longer, and then even longer with the Dognut boys, Cody, Rob, and Aaron, and all them. Which, again, I miss having us all together. Like, that was when I had more motivation to do all this. When we were all together, we were all friends. I miss those guys, and I miss Mike being happier too and being more comfortable.
Yeah, because Mike, you're miserable now. I know you're miserable, and I understand why. You're not in the best environment to begin with, but you can't surround like the amount of pain I've been in for the past 11 days. I'm not talking about it here. This is taking it away, but I understand about living in pain. I understand misery. I was swimming in it for a long time and loving it. Just find what makes you happy, but understand that not everybody's out to get you. Not every person's your enemy. Now, you do have one, I'll give you that. But that's not really a person when you break it down. It's just a large organism made up of fast food and low expectations. So you just have to find, accept the times when you're wrong, move on from it, and remember what it's like just to be you. Who remembers laughter?
And you know what? I just want to add real quick. When I was younger, I cared so much about what my reputation was and what other people were saying about me. But then when I tried out saying what's on my mind, not being scared of having a bad reputation and what other people are saying, I have felt so fucking free since then.
Yeah, here's what it is, Cody. It's very simple. I've learned a long time ago. This when I purposely stopped. I was on purpose just being a selfish prick. Learned a long time ago, just keep constantly telling the truth, because it's easier to remember the truth than try to keep up with 1,000 lies and try to remember that shit.
Yeah.
You can't apologize if you like. It's a different type of, if you go up like the old thing. A lot of people try to make a joke. Or if you go up to a woman like, "Oh, when's the baby due?" and she's not pregnant, you apologize for that. That's a legit apology. But if somebody is wasting their life away and they're lazy and they can't get a job because they say they're drinking all the time. But if you tell them you have a fucking drinking problem, this is why you're a piece of shit. You don't apologize for that because you're right. Now, the approach might not be right, but you're stating facts. That's the difference. That's what it is. Mike, before we go, can you come on camera? I just want to make sure you're not
Is he there? Mike, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
He's upset. That's why he doesn't want to stay on the case. He's upset
Mike,
with us.
Mike, you're staying on camera for the last 5 minutes here. Come on. Come on, Mike.
I'm not upset. I'm good.
No, you're not. No, you got to stay on camera.
Come on and stay on, or else I quit.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Last 5 minutes. I need you on. Come on.
Well, he's deciding that. I just want to state for the record, while Mike is making this decision to come on for the last couple of minutes, I want all this to be buried. Mike's saying he doesn't want to, or he can't, or something like that. I wish so badly we could just all bury the hatchet. And I get it. Mike's feelings are hurt. His feelings are just as valid as anybody else's.
Exactly. No, I agree. And when Mike's ready, it's on him. All we're really saying is, I think we both agree on this. We're not forcing this to happen. We just would like it one day when it's right to happen. Yeah. And
when it comes, it'll be right here on the hot seat. I think. I don't know. But
considering I was on a hot seat, you never brought up any of my kiddie porn charges. So I thank you for. Yeah.
Hey, real quick here, I got a quick story for that type of subject. So and it doesn't matter now, I was a kid, but when I was in my mid-teens, right? Do you remember when we were younger, we had programs such as LimeWire and Kazaa and all that shit? Well, when I was like 14 and I was like brand new on the internet and all that good shit, I remember like just searching for the most fucked up, dirty things that I could on like LimeWire or whatever. So I was 14 at the time, so let's not get that confused. But I got curious and I just typed in something like, 15-year-old lesbians getting it on, because at that age, I wanted to see people my age, right? I found this video and they looked like adults. They probably weren't anything but 19, 20-year-olds. And then I watched it once and then I forgot all about it, right? So then all these years later, I realized hey, like I still got this broken down fucking computer sitting on here. And then I started going through it in my head what kind of shit I may or may not have on that computer. And I freaked out. And I was like, you know what? I got to get someone to destroy this computer, because even though I was 14 at the time, I don't, you know what I mean?
You
So
don't know what you're.
yeah, you don't know what was on that computer.
I actually this is a messed up story. So when lived in Philadelphia, I moved to Bucks County, PA in summer '95. One of my first friends was my next door neighbor. We had the same name. His name was Vince as well, and he was 2 years younger than I was, but he played sports just like I did, so we got along. And this was October of 1996. He just got his first computer that his brother-in-law gave him. And one of the other times we were there, because we used to play this game Syndicate, which is like one of the first crime shooting games that came on for a PC back then. And he said, hey, my brother-in-law, his name was Serge. He's a Russian guy. Americanized, of course, but so he gave me this stuff, and he said, not tell anybody. And he didn't see it before. And it was all these hard disks. This is how old this goes back. So he puts one in, and we both, at this point, we both saw, softcore stuff like Playgirl. And for me at that time, like I was good with that. Let's give me, or
Wait.
Spice Video.
You mean Playboy, right?
Playgirl.
Oh, Playgirl.
No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to see if you were going to pick up on that. I'm glad
I
you
did pick up on that. Anything else you want to reveal on tonight's episode?
Okay. No, of course, like stuff like the Pan Anderson Photoshop, like that was the stuff like we would look at on the computer. Like, oh my God, like the topless. And we weren't looking at sicko images. And at this point, I'm 14, he's 12. And his brother-in-law gave him these discs. Puts one in, and we just knew from the start this is a little bit weird. And it was girls who were younger than he was, probably around 9, in weird, compromising poses with their clothes on. And took that one out, put another one in, and it got worse. And we took it out. And we stopped because we clicked on an image, and it was a girl. She had to be maybe 6 or 7. It was disturbing, disgusting in every way. Was topless and licking an ice cream cone. And that's the one we took that out. And we didn't say anything. We knew what we saw was wrong, but we didn't know what to say. And we didn't know who to tell it to or how to explain it. But we knew we're done with this. And he was the one who came up with the idea to throw them out, and he did. And he threw out, I think there was 4 or 5 of them he threw out. So we skip ahead. At this point in life, this is in July of 2000. So where I lived in this, it's called Warrington, PA. I was living on my own at this point. I was 18. My dad helped me get my first place, put them down payment, all that shit. Because you're 18, you don't have any of that shit. And I drove, and it was less than 4 blocks away. That's how close I was. And Vince's house was next to my house. So I drove to see my parents. And as I'm driving, there's 3 Warrington cop cars outside of Vince's house. And I go, oh, that's scary. I hope everything's okay. And I was at my parents' house for about an hour. The cop cars left. And so did Vince's father's car, and his mother's car left as well. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they're not in trouble because they wouldn't let them drive away. So it might have been a medical thing. I don't know. And I think it was about less than a week when I saw Vince. He told me his brother-in-law, the one who gave him the discs, was caught molesting his own 2-year-old child. Yeah. And when he told me that, I said, we got to tell your parents what happened to us years ago. And we told them, and we were apologizing that we didn't tell them then. And we blamed ourselves of if we told you this wouldn't have happened. We still think that way. But they didn't. They were not mad at us. They knew what, like, you didn't know what to do. You didn't know what you were even seeing. But holy shit, that was the bomb went off. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's called grooming. That's what he was doing to his own brother-in-law, was grooming him at the age of 12 to go look at this.
Yeah.
Ooh, isn't this? Yeah, it's just like, that's like, I have that. I'm sure you go through this too. Like with what you have to, what you go through, what I go through. I think of that joke about Louis C.K. is said about I'm glad I'm not a child molester. Could you imagine, like, guys who molest children? It's like I love Almond Joys. They love fucking children as much as I love Almond Joy. Can you imagine, like, every day, like, oh boy, I just want to fuck a kid. Like, I don't have that.
And that's the thing. Like, it could always. That's how, in a weird kind of way, I always think to myself, like, I could have it worse. And that's what frustrates me. That's what I was saying like an hour ago. People look at me and say, "Oh, that's the worst of the worst." I'm glad I'm not living like. And no, it's not. Like,
it could, yeah, it's bad. You got used to. I think you like I do with my conditions. You learn to adapt. You it would, like, I'm not making a joke, but it's the truth. Like, yeah, you would like to have arms. Okay, it would make fucking life easier.
I think the only thing I would change is I would like to have normal hands just so I could play video games better and jerk off easier. That's probably about it.
Well, sticking it in between the love seat cushions, it's nice and all, but then if you get caught, it's a compromising position there.
I used to have a sex toy, this little like fucking like this little sleeve in a pocket where you could
it's a pussy
I used to have one of those, but Berlia told me she wouldn't clean it for me, so I had to stop using it. So,
yeah,
and you can't use those unless you clean them because bacteria builds up and I'll get an infection. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I remember I saw one of those and like, I gotta try it at least one time, and it did nothing for me. It's like, and that's when I realized, like, I think this is made for guys who've never had sex, because it does not feel like the real thing.
Did you know that those pocket pussies, or whatever you want to call them, did you know that you're supposed to warm those up somehow before you use them?
I guess that makes sense, but it's like I'm at the, like, I hardly even do that now. Like, I don't. It's like,
my
back
point
then,
is,
it makes sense. It's supposed to feel like the real thing.
My point is like, so I didn't know that. And when I used it, it felt okay, but I'm thinking like, man, it's like, is this what it feels like to fuck a dead bitch? Because this is freezing. And then, like, yeah, it's a little lubed, but it's still like, it doesn't feel real. It's cold. This is how necrophiliacs get started, probably.
It's not crying, asking for its mother. I want the real thing, damn it.
My God.
That's like the guys who used to get the blow up dolls. Like, how can you and then the worst is the real doll. Like, if you live by yourself, you gotta, okay, I get it, but you have to hide it. But if you live with your parents and you're trying to fuck that thing and you get caught, it's one thing. I've never been caught masturbating. I'm so proud of that. I really am. This is what a jerking off fiend I was. When I was, I really discovered it at 15. It was like 15. I was late. I was like, oh my God. So the house I grew up in the suburbs, downstairs was like our family rooms. That's where the TV was at, the VCR. Yeah, that's how way back I go. You do it through the VCR. I wasn't using the dial-up connection. I wasn't comfortable. enough. But the door downstairs didn't have a lock on it. Now I could hear footsteps, but I didn't want to take risks. So I purposely fucked up the door handle. And me being the good son, I didn't say I broke it. I noticed it. And I didn't have a lot of money because I was working one job. But I spent $20 on a new door handle with a lock. And told my dad, I'm like, oh, hey, the door's so I went to Home Depot on my bike, and I bought one because I think maybe I twisted it too hard, and he wasn't even mad. He was more impressed that I took initiative, and he gave me back the $20. Like, and put in the door handle with the lock on it. That's what a genius I was. I make sure now I'm going to jerk off in peace. I lock it. And then if somebody comes down, I don't hear them. And they're like, why is the door locked? I don't know. It's an accident. Why is your pants wet? Fuck. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I would, and I would also when I started using the internet back then, which was really around the early 2000s, it was dial up, so you had to have patience. God, this is so. I don't know. When did I stop holding back anyway? I never have. I wanted to try
back on this show, especially.
Yeah. Well, I never try lubricant, and so I would use canola oil. Yeah, great lube, by the way. It will definitely cause pimples around your ball sack, though. I learned that. Learned that pretty quick. And so, yeah, I would put that, what was never not used, I would put that, it was in a cup, a glass jar, like 4 ounces, in the back of my amplifier for my guitar. And my mom saw back of the amplifier one day, like, why is that there? I go, well, when I change the strings, I'm supposed to use canola oil on the fretboard. Oh. It made sense to her.
Let me ask you this real quick before I forget, because we're having these conversations about weird sex toy stuff and weird sexual experiences. Have you ever experienced having a vibrating back massager on your dick before?
No.
I'm telling you what, it worked for me when I was younger, and I figured it out by accident. Because, I can't lift up my arms or anything. So if I'm holding something in my hand, it's automatically going to be in my lap. So I think me and my mom were at a friend's house, like one of her friend's house. And she she was older. She had back problems. And then I was messing around with the back massager. And then I turned it on and I was like, oh, this feels actually kind of good. And my mom caught me and she's like, you're not putting that on your private area, are you? Like, stop it, seriously, stop. You know what I mean? So yeah, when I got a little older and I could purchase things on my own, I got myself one of those, and I'm telling you, it worked. It was every so often it worked.
The one
did that knock you off your guard a little bit? That story?
Well, I could see I could be. Oh God, some of the shit I've done, not alone, but with women. Holy, I look back and think, boy, I was a piece of. There's things I've done at the age of 21 that I could never do nowadays. For one, morality, and two, like, I don't think I would be able to perform. Here's what a piece of shit I was as a boyfriend. I've pretty much cheated on almost all my girlfriends. I cheated on my girlfriend, who took me down to her parents' shore house in North Carolina. And I had sex with her much hotter, younger cousin who was 19 at the time.
How old were you? 21?
21.
Okay.
So here's how that went down. Her dad, and I respected the rules, because she told me this going down, like, we can't sleep in the same bedroom. I'm like, oh, I get it. We're not married. I get it. It's your dad's place. Totally respect that. I do. I get it. And I had to share a room. It was 3 beds with her brother, who just got back briefly from a tour. He's an Army guy, and her cousin. And I remember seeing her cousin, like, fuck. Now, more context to it. My girlfriend did give me the okay to do whatever I wanted with other women. I swear. This is the worst first girlfriend I ever had because I thought every girl was like this. Because we try to, not swing. She actually liked watching me with other women. She never wanted a three-way with like another dude and me. And I was like, I'm not doing that shit. And because it doesn't do anything for me at all. It's weird. None of that cuckold stuff. Or even say it's control and you're what now. So I took it a little bit too far. Now, of course, family would be off limits. Like, and if I was ever going to like stray away, I would tell her. So the first night it happened, her brother's passed out in the bed. He's about maybe 6 feet away, if that, like maybe more. I'm having the most quiet, intense sex of my life, and it happened multiple times down there. I find out after we broke up, and then months later we went out to dinner, and she did confront me while we were down there when we were together and it happened. The first night she said, how did everything go? Were we okay? I'm like, oh yeah. So it's like, you didn't do anything with my cousin? I'm like, no. I'm like, no. And I said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I fucked your cousin. That's what I did. Yeah, because I totally fucked your cousin last night. She knew I was lying, and I found out months later after we broke up when we had a very nice dinner together to bury the hatchet. And she said, I know you fucked my cousin on vacation. I said, I did. Did your cousin tell you? She said, no. I saw you through the window. I was like, oh.
Jesus.
And to her credit, this is why we're cool to this day. After, we broke up 20 years ago. And we're still cool to this day. She said, I was actually more impressed. And this is a great jab at me and a compliment at the same time, that your dick was able to stay hard with my brother in the room. Because she knew one time her cell phone rang and I lost my heart on because it was her mom calling. I'm like, I got to get hard again. It's like, that threw you off? Like, yeah, you were talking to your mom. What the fuck? So she was like, that was a great jab. And yeah, she was right. I would be insulted too. Like, you can fuck my cousin with my passed out brother next to you pretty much, but you can't keep your dick hard because my mom called. Like, yep, good point. But really the point was her cousin was way more attractive.
Hey, I mean, she was able, at least, are they still cool all these years later?
They don't really talk because they're in separate cities. And I think, yeah, she kind of holds that against her. But I told her it was my fault. That's really what it was.
Right.
What
Real
does
quick
Mike
here,
say? I'm going to need...
He says, I'm going to need you guys to resurrect controversial conversations because this view count is insane, in all caps.
What, do we have 12 people?
Yeah, maybe 13. Controversial Conversations was a show that me and John Rhodes did one episode of, and that was it.
And John's one of those fun guys. Like, he is... The fact he's a saint, he should be known as Saint Rhodes, because he took the time to write a screenplay for Mike. That's like, I don't know how you have the patience and you keep a marriage together.
Mm-hmm.
But for him, yeah.
Maybe Mike would actually be happier if he was gay and he married Rob.
I think Mike would be happy.
John. I'm sorry, John. Why am I'm getting delirious? Maybe he should just marry all of them.
What I would love, Mike, like Mike needs, here's what he needs. Here's the perfect woman for him. You watch the show, My 600-Pound Life?
I know what that show is.
He needs one of them. He needs one of those big girls so he can control. He knows that girl's never going to leave him. All he's got to do is like stuff her face.
Here's the thing. He needs another woman that had the same exact health problems as his mom did before she died. He needs a woman to take care of. And
that's simple. He lives very close to a cemetery. He can dig one of those big bitches up instantly. And that'll take him a couple days
Yeah.
with his palsy. Oh God, I
So
don't
all
want
we got to do is send him a cold sex toy, him fuck it a few times, learn what it's like to enjoy the cold, lifeless feeling of a pussy. Then he can do that.
He knows that feeling already.
Yeah.
How does a woman? And he's had normal looking women. I just don't know like what issues they've had. Where it's like this is like I'm gonna let this inside of me, and that's what I don't get. They
probably have more issues after they're done with him. Probably like they left with more issues.
Yeah, for him, it's the whole like, especially how do you survive it? Here's like the whole like he didn't. It's not like he's had one night stands. Like he was in a relationship. The fact that a woman still like you have to survive. So if when I was a younger dude, my goal at the end of the night was I have to see her at least half naked. I'm getting something out of this consensually. I got to get her to love me real quick. And when they're comfortable, it's easier. If they're like, oh, so it's not going to happen all the time. I like, hey, great night. Set up the second date. Perfect. But my goal was like, if I liked them, like, oh, and that lust is coming out, like, I need. But I knew enough. The dates, my dates were, I want them 80% doing the talking. I want to tell me. And the most beautiful word you can tell a woman is their name. Hey, Jessica, why do you like being a nurse? Oh, Jessica, that's all I was, I was a bullshit artist. I say that to say this now. Mike goes on a date with a girl. How, like, he's doing 90% of the talking, and out of that 90%, 95% is about, 60% is Donald Pleasance in Halloween. Immersed, and 40% is about his stupid movies like Camp Out Nightmare. And she's still going, I'm probably gonna fuck this guy. Like I think he gets pity fucked. I think that's what it is. I think it goes to the point where it's like I feel so bad this guy hasn't committed suicide because he obviously has no life. He's ripped off the movie Scream and Halloween and then thinks he's made this movie himself, and he hasn't. It's been ripped off of other movies. And he gets his family members and his very gay friend to act really gay and do things. If you've ever seen like one of his Camp Out Nightmare movies, this guy, unfortunately, his health is doing really poor. But for whatever reason, and this is why Mike's not a director, because the director will tell you they'll direct. When Mike says he's a director, here's how it works. Yeah, here's Mike. Here's what you're going to do. You tell Mike what to do, and he just holds the camera, kind of. And I know this because his friend Jim Hyde, who was the main character in his Camp Out Nightmare movies, was very gay, very gay. And Jim had the idea of he's the killer in this movie named Thorn, which is a blatant ripoff from Halloween 6.
Of course.
Yes, because everything has to be tied to Halloween 6.
Yeah.
And there's a scene that makes no fucking sense. Like most of the movie makes a little bit of sense. It's just not shot well. It's not lit well. It's whatever. It's a fan film. You're just having fun as kids. To Mike, it's Schindler's List. There's a scene, and this is partly Mike's idea. Mike had this concept like, well, we've never seen, I never saw Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers take a bath. So I figured there's a fucking reason for it. Nobody like John Carpenter was going to go, what's really missing here? No, not the brother sister thing. No. I need Myers to jump in that shower for 2.5 minutes, full frontal. This is really going to. So he has gay Jim disrobe, show his ass, and bathe in a Levittown lake. And Levittown, PA is fucking dirty. I know this because I banged half the skanks in Levittown. I trust me, it's a shithole. That's the only place you can get your dick sucked after saying you have all your teeth. Oh my god, that's the kind. Like I'm Brad Pitt walking in those diners. I know, like I'm a pussy magnet. Wow, white sneakers without bloodstains, awesome. Well, that's what they're doing. They're host. So again, how a woman has had sex with Mike, knowing it's that weird roller coaster of, is he retarded? Oh no, he's really passionate. No, he's fucking retarded. No, he just loves this. I think he's retarded. That's the roller coaster of Mike.
Do you think he's a liar? Maybe Mike's a 40-some-year-old virgin. Maybe he's never actually had any.
No, he's had sex.
Yeah, okay.
That I know. He could. Mike's the thing with Mike. He's very honest. He will
and forceful sex with his dead mother doesn't count, right?
Only in his mind.
Okay, all right.
I do miss the days when I went over when I would go to his house and I went in his parents' room one time and I saw Gatorade bottles of piss. And I said, "Oh my God!" What? It was like, "Oh yeah, the toilet wasn't working." So my dad just, okay. Most people will call a fucking plumber, but no, it's let's go to the supermarket, get some Gatorade bottles, we'll drink them, then we'll piss in them.
Why not just get a urinal?
I couldn't. It was in that the house. It was. Okay, this is where Mike has a valid case. How he didn't kill his mother and dress up as her is a miracle. They did him no favors because his old house in Ben Salem. You had a long stairway to get to the front door, and that stairway was cracked. And he had to walk that way. They didn't have a fucking ramp. And then the stairs to go up to his room were wobbly and soft in certain spots. So,
like him.
Yeah, especially on the top of the head.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into full details since it's not really shitty, but it's still shitty. When Mike's mom got some money, she wanted to fix up the house. And you go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because the stairs are fucked up and, we need that. She fixes up the kitchen. She dumps all the fucking money in the kitchen. She was a very large woman. God rest her soul.
I know she was.
Very large. Yeah, everything else was fucked, but that was a beautiful kitchen. And what do? They ordered fucking takeout, which his brother could never. His brother would never call takeout, or his dad. Mike did all the work in that house. He would have to call takeout because people were afraid to talk to a stranger on the phone. Yeah, Mike was the normal one. Mike is the normal one out of his family. That's how. Yeah,
he's the straight one too in his family, so that's good.
Yeah, that never shocked me that his brother was
homo.
Is very gay.
Cock rider.
Yeah, very loves dick. Can't get enough
Queer
dick.
Queer boat. Yeah. Got
He's
it.
And that's why it's like Mike is that's where Mike's anger gets. And he's rightfully so. Really, seriously, rightfully so.
I'm just afraid that one of these days he's going to accidentally piss off his brother and his homo husband so bad that they're just going to hold him down one of these days and be like, "Oh yeah, well take all these dildos up your ass," or just really get back at him and just. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
And then they both get blinded by all the ejaculation that Mike is doing after that pleasure he receives.
It would probably at least make him come, and then that would make him gay,
Oh,
and then we can forever make fun of him for that.
The 7+ years of Michael J. Because mommy made a duty, and you had to clean it. That's where I understand Mike's frustration of years of being the good son of. Where somebody should be taking care of Mike because he is physically disabled. He is. He should have somebody there at least 4 hours a day. Honestly, it would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, he's a lot less disabled than I am, and I get more time with. You know what I mean? Like he did. Yeah. I agree. He deserves to have some help, and he's doing it all on his own. Because
it is needed, but the fact that you put somebody with a disability in to take care of somebody who has a disability who. Sadly, and I'm not in any way disrespecting Miss Sankovic, but she didn't take care of herself. She didn't do herself any favors. And Mike's there all the time. clean her up, taking away.
According to Mike, it was 11 years straight, he said.
Yeah, that's about, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that can drive someone insane.
It was, and that's when, because his father passed away, it was 2013, I believe.
I'm looking at the private chat. He can correct us on this stuff. I'm looking at what he has to say. Oh, by the way, for anyone listening, by the way, I just want to make this clear. I don't know how many people are trying to message me on Facebook that are also watching this, but I have not seen even half of what people are saying to me. I had a couple of people ask me to repeat a few things that they're saying I can't because one, the notification is going by too fast, and for two, it's flying in. So
I hope we're not pissing people off because we're just being. Nothing's planned. We didn't have show prep and going, hey Cody, do you want to talk about which film was more riveting back in? No. It was like
no. The majority of it was from people asking to come on to the show, which again I have no control of that. That is up to Mike, and I was told no.
And for the record, seriously, Cody's telling the truth, and I told Mike I don't want any Jews on here. I don't want no Jews, no gypsies, and Puerto Ricans. I can say that.
I just seen another notification. Tom just said that he's sincerely sorry for all the bullshit he has caused. And I know that I didn't see the rest of the message because it's a short notification, but I can't read all the messages that multiple people are asking me to read. This is supposed to be an interview with Vince. But
there's really nothing. I think everybody knows me anyway. We're just two fucked up guys, just talking about some fun stuff. It's like I like it, and this is a show the true diversity here. I start off the show by saying like how I have these two wonderful daughters, and I talk about how I used to fuck my cousin's my girlfriend's cousin in front of her brother because gotta. How do you get to being a good guy? You got to make a few mistakes along the way. That's what it is.
I gotta say, or I gotta ask, out of all the fucked up things that you've done and had in life, have you ever talked a girl into giving you a blumpkin before?
No, because that's so okay. When it like any bathroom shit, never. I've done sexually. I can't complain. I've lived that life. It was great. That stuff is disgusting. I was at my townhome. First major girlfriend. This is what I was so fucking selfish. Early in the morning, like 7 a.m. or whatever, I got up and I'm in the master bedroom and the bathroom door is open. I walk by it. She's on the toilet seat. I go, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm peeing. Like, oh my God, close the fucking door. That was the first time I yelled at her.
Yeah.
And minutes later, she's like, what would you have done if I was shitting? I go, I would have sold the fucking house. Like, I don't want to. It's not fucking sexy. Close the door. I don't care if you're washing your hands. Close the door. And I forget, 6 hours before this, she let me decorate her face like a Christmas tree, and so I show my gratitude.
So let me ask you this: say hypothetically speaking, you were in a scenario where you sat down on the toilet but didn't go pee pee and didn't go poo poo yet, right? And this girl, your girl, pops in and goes, "Hey, before you let any disgusting fluids or material out of your body, want me to suck on that dick?"
Nope.
No, not even.
My mindset is this: if I'm in a bathroom, there's nothing sexy about it. It's the okay. Another me being a piece of shit, being way too honest. I'm not one of those guys. I learned early on. I had a lot of great older dudes who were mentors to me, and one particular said, "Don't ever lie your way into a woman's bed. Always be upfront, whatever your intentions are." It's like shit. Okay, of course I told some lies, but it was never like I wasn't shit to get like laid. It was shit. Sometimes I would say to stay getting laid, but not like only my intention. This is again me being way too honest when you should be. And I had a girlfriend who was trying to be sexy, which that's the worst. When a woman tries to be, it's not fucking sexy.
I agree.
it's like they're trying.
Try hard. It's too much. It's fake.
Yeah, and she
Same
said,
same thing if a girl's moaning too loud when you're actually having sex.
That's when it's like I've stopped one time and I thought she was having an asthma attack, and she wasn't faking it. I don't think I'm that particularly good, so I just always check. But yeah, my one girlfriend, she said I was going to surprise me. She got something. I'm thinking all I need is like a G-string, something like that. I'm simple. And she goes to change into it, and she does it's just so fucking cliche. She gets the schoolgirl outfit, and it's like, what do you think?
You want to dress up as the principal?
Yeah, I was like, it does nothing for me, and I fucking hurt her feelings. She's like, what? I go, no, you look great. I'm like, but the concept does nothing. She's like, why? I'm like, if I fuck you in that, it's like I'm fucking a retard who can't pass 8th grade. Like I'm fucking a 25-year-old who can't, do multiplication tables.
Yeah,
it's weird. Do
some division for me, bitch, and then you might get me hard, right?
It's like, what's the whole? And it's the same if like a girl tried to dress up as like, imagine like it wouldn't do anything for me, and it sure shouldn't do anything for you if a girl tried to dress up as a nurse to be sexy. Like, yeah, we got bad memories when we see that.
What do you think it would do to Mike's sex drive, Michael J's sex drive, if he found a girl that would role play and dress up as a Dr. Loomis and shave their head bald for him and talked about the blackest of eyes? All I could see was the blackest of eyes. And
this is truly Mike. I'm not. This is no joke. This is not a bit. If a woman would role play as Loomis, he would honestly let that woman sodomize him. I'm not kidding. That's what a sicko he is.
Yeah.
With Loomis. He would go all out. Yeah, that would be the role play would be Loomis. She's Loomis. He's a young Myers being punished. And Loomis is gonna fuck the evil out of him. That's how that would work.
It could work.
He'd be all for it. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm telling you what, man, and just to close all this out, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think what really needs to happen is I think that Mike just needs to have a big gay orgy with all these guys that he's not getting along with. He just needs to let Big Tom come on over here and give him a sausage, and then they can make love and then make peace. I think that's
part of it. We're really, for the first time, when Mike uses his mouth, nothing good comes out of it. If he learns how to blow a few guys, he's going to like it. He's like, hey, I'm good at this, because we know when Mike finds something he likes, he goes all in. It's going to be Dick City in his mouth. That's what it is. Occupancy ? That's what it is.
Could you imagine Mike as a severe coke addict? I mean, he already snorts pretty perfectly. Like he could just.
He would be better. Mike would be the perfect. He's the guy, like you talk about coming out. If he came out, he would be over the top gay, because he would feel like he had to make up for about 44 years of like holding on. And yeah, he would be the dude bragging on like, oh my God, I fucked this guy on Grindr. He's crazy. This 22-year-old Cuban waiter.
I met this dude on Halloween fan page hookups.com, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, oh my God, he would be the greatest late blooming gay guy.
Yeah.
He
had to do was wait for both of his parents to drop dead, and then he
now it's safe. It's finally safe.
Oh, my brother's been encouraging me to be my true self all this time. Now I can, right? Like,
yeah, because Mike could have. He's going to go one of two ways. He's killing who's ever left in that house, and we're going to watch that on Discovery ID, and we're going to be interviewed. Or he's going to blow a lot of dudes. It's like one of two ways.
Just for the record, I'd rather be on an A&E documentary series about that, but Discovery ID is okay, I guess.
It's one of my favorites, but yeah, A&E does a much better job. Discovery is sometimes there's a lot of hits, a lot of misses, and but yeah, Mike, he would get the depending on the nature of the crime. I think he would go Discovery ID.
Mm-hmm.
If he's elaborate about it, if he dresses up as his mom and then does it. But really what would happen is he would attempt it, but he would then not, and he would drop whatever weapon he would use, and then he would explain what he was going to do to his potential victims, and then apologize and cry laugh. And then he would call the cops, he would get arrested and go to jail.
And if he just throws in there one time that, oh, by the way, I voted for Trump, then maybe it'll air on Fox News.
Yeah, it's a guy whose voting record goes as, I believe, Obama, Clinton, Biden, that's a fact. He's voted that, and he wonders why his life's been so shitty. There's people you think are helping you out. I'm not saying the other side's going to help you out. I'm just saying, after a while you go, why is this stove hot when I keep touching it and it's on? I don't know. Maybe try the one that's not hot. It's filled with ice. Try that one. Yeah, before we go, Mike, can you come on camera, say a proper goodbye? We did 2.5 hours. Oh my god!
Yeah, we did 2.5 hours for you, dumbass. Come on and at least say something. Jesus Christ, we're done here. We're signing off. We're gonna put each other over real quick, and we're going. There you are.
Yeah, okay, I'm here. Is my audio still fucked?
It's really bad. I don't know what
I don't know what's wrong either.
Seriously, honestly, are you using a USB connection? Is that what that one is?
No, this is wireless. Well,
that's okay. There's a second thing.
But I used the same thing for. No, it's plugged into a USB port, but it's wireless.
Sometimes the old reset where you just take it out, turn it off, plug it, do that thing, that'll work. But yeah, I don't.
Well, I'll do that.
I think all your boosters that you got are finally affecting the Wi-Fi.
I just want to say, for our increased viewers that we've had supposedly on this episode, I sincerely apologize for Mike's terrible audio. It's not our fault. And he's gone already. Yeah, Vince, I just want to say, this has been a great episode. This was more entertaining.
And I didn't care that I look like complete shit because I'm down to 185 pounds, but I'm actually purposely trying to lose weight for health reasons. Hopefully that turns it around. But I know I look tired and dreaded. But I don't care. I'm fucking over 40. It's fun. I don't give a shit.
I don't care anymore either, to be honest with you. I wear a t-shirt and sweatpants every fucking day because it's comfortable. I don't care about my fashion statement.
Oh, but and real quick before we go, talking about this is how much I've changed too. So 2 months ago, my oldest daughter had a sleepover here, right? And which that's awful because now you're in charge of like 5 kids. You're like, I hope a fucking pedo doesn't break in and rape them. Like that's just like I can't sleep. Like I'm responsible.
That'd be the worst time to let Michael J over. Not because he would do anything. He wouldn't do anything, but just the visual of him would scare the piss out of all those girls.
I'm like, they would all turn lesbian, just like their mom. The hardest part about the sleepover is, I guess she's pretty much a fucking wife at this point. She was trying to seduce me. Like, no. Like, can't do that. Like, it's hard enough to do that in the house. Yeah, I can't. I can barely do it when there's 2. I can't. Like, you gotta almost like it's a rape scene. You gotta put a hand over the mouth, like, shh, it's for your own good. Don't make a noise.
And what if one of those kids get curious and like, what are they doing in there? Let's find out. Like, oh god.
Yeah, and it's can't do that. That's just I don't know how. I'm convinced. I think you're a sicko if you have sex with the kids in the house. This is weird. That's just a messed up thing.
Yeah, I have to be super comfortable in my environment has to be relaxed with no other people in it for me to be comfortable with that. But that is a topic for a whole nother episode. Before we go, I just want to reiterate, I'm going to try for anyone who's watching who cares about, I know the main subjects you guys cared about hearing. I'm going to try my hardest for someday in the future for me and Vince to work out a moderated episode of trying to get some people on together. I don't know who will and I don't know who won't, but I think that should be something that we should at least try for at some point in the future. No promises, though. And because anyone who watches our content, anyone who watches the other side's content, everyone knows what's going on, because as it stands, nobody can make their own content anymore. It's all about jabbing everyone else. And Vince, I know you and I agree on this. It's time for that to end. It's
and
time
the main thing's this. This is like, I guess, with age comes wisdom. Look what else is going on. Like, if that was my main problem in life, I'm just going to attack this dude. I'm not pointing fingers at Mike or anybody else. Honestly, I'm not. I'm saying the main objective is, like, I'm just going to make fun of this dude on my show because I don't like him. And then you look at it like Palestine. Let's go to that extreme. And their objective is, hopefully I can get food today.
Yeah.
Like, there's homeless people. Sometimes when life is, you don't realize your life's pretty good when you got to start creating your own problems.
Yeah.
I learned that a long time ago. And I'm at the point where I have my problems, my issues. I make my burden my own. I carry my own luggage. I don't want to force it on anybody.
Right.
I know you feel the same way too.
I agree. I 100% agree. So a little shameless plug here. We did content today. We put out over 2.5 hours of content. Anybody who agrees with this subject of me and Vince that we should put all this together, drop a like on the video anywhere that you're streaming this, and maybe comment, try to get the algorithm going in our direction. That way it'll show producer Mike that it would be worth doing in the future. Right, Vince?
I agree. And if anybody can make the best, Vince looks like he has, God, I look really ragged. Oof. Make the best age jokes, cancer jokes, whatever about my appearance. I'm all for it.
Crippled jokes.
Give me a month and a half. I'll come back looking like 30 pounds heavier and be different.
Yeah. You'll have more than one chin at that point. So
hopefully, God willing.
All right. Well, Vince, is there anything you want to plug before we go? Do you have anything going on?
Hey, don't I like to plug an ATO? Hey, gotta go share. That's my new Italian character, Joey Nuts. Yeah, he says crazy things. No, I don't. No, just anybody who actually took the time to listen, watch. Seriously, thanks. I don't know. Hopefully, I think most people are watching. Like, I hope he says something really stupid. Like, who's gonna? I didn't make one amputee joke at all, so that's growth.
That is growth.
And plus, I think I've made them in the past, and I'm not going to redo them. Like I did the old, if you're happy, oh, never mind.
Yeah. And maybe I'll know what growth is about someday when I can get through a full episode without dropping any kind of socially unacceptable word in one of my episodes. But we'll see on that. We'll see.
I think one time we should collaborate and just watch the first episode of Roots together, where I'm going to stay silent. I'm just going to let you commentate.
Okay. That sounds like a great idea. Well, on that note, thank you very much for doing this episode, Vince. I really
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone. Yeah, I mean, I'm exhausted, but it's a good exhaustion. I know for anyone seeing this, listening, I know I got a lot of shit ton of notifications and messages. I didn't see all of them. I apologize. There's only so much I can do as far as being a hand in the drama of trying to get it better. But
what do you know about being a hand?
Huh?
There you go. I got one in. I said, what do you know about being a hand?
Oh, yeah, I'd clap for that if I had hands, so thank you.
Just use your head on the desk.
Yeah, I'll just headbutt the camera. But all right, thank you everyone for listening and watching. Like I said, comment anything you want, like the video, share it, please. And I'll see you in another 10 more months probably for another Hot Seat episode. And thank you, Vince. Have a good night.
You as well, Cody. Thank you.
All right, bye.